The moment that drop of essence blood appeared, a blood-red divine radiance burst out. The air seemed to thicken. A crushing pressure spread in all directions, and the space around them trembled as if it couldn't bear it. Inside the crimson drop, a dragon shadow swam back and forth, alive and arrogant. For Huanglong, the feeling was even worse. This wasn't ordinary suppression. It was bloodline suppression. His pupils contracted. Awe rose instinctively, mixed with a hunger so strong it almost burned his throat. Dragon blood, Huanglong's voice came out hoarse, shocked. And it's half-saint true dragon blood. Chu Yuan chuckled, holding the drop right in front of him like a baited hook. Well? Want it? Huanglong wasn't stupid. He stared at it, forcing himself to stay calm. If I become your mount, you'll give me half-saint dragon blood? Chu Yuan nodded. Not just one drop. And I have plenty. As he spoke, another drop appeared between his fingers. Huangling's expression changed again. Wait, did you kill a half-saint true dragon? Chu Yuan didn't answer directly. Instead, more vials of essence blood appeared in his hands, each one radiating a terrifying aura. Pressure stacked on pressure, like mountains piling onto his spine. Semi-saint Qilin essence, Huanglong swallowed. Semi-saint white tiger. Semi-saint azure phosphor eagle. And that 9-headed lion. His voice started stuttering. How many half-saints died for you to have this much? He was completely stunned. Among demon beasts, cultivation tiers mirrored human realms. First tier, body forging. Second, true essence. Third, returning sea. Fourth, divine elixir. Fifth, mystical power. Sixth, soul realm. And beyond that. Seventh tier corresponded to golden body. Eighth and ninth tiers, the immortal realm. But the immortal realm itself was divided. Life. Death. The eighth tier could already stand in the life and death range. Ninth tier pushed it even further. And the holy realm was beyond the immortal realm entirely, a transitional stage that immortals simply couldn't compare to. So seeing so much half-saint essence blood in one person's hands, it only meant one thing. Too many half-saints had fallen. And demon beasts would never hand over essence blood willingly. Doing so meant cutting their own foundation, weakening themselves at the core. Huanglong's thoughts churned. This human, his background is absolutely not simple. And why would someone like him even bother choosing a mixed-blood wild dragon as a mount? He couldn't hold it in anymore. Why do you want me as your mount? Even his tone had changed. The arrogance was gone. He didn't call himself this seat anymore. It was simply, me. Chu Yuan smiled faintly. Because I feel like it. Huanglong. Chu Yuan's voice stayed calm, almost casual. You don't get to bargain. Agree or die. Huanglong's jaw tightened. Then he answered instantly. Fine. Not because he was afraid of death. But because if there was a choice to live, who would choose to die? And more importantly, what Chu Yuan offered was enough to make even a dragon's eyes turn red. This wasn't humiliation. This was a fortune. Good, Chu Yuan said. Then don't resist. He took out a beast-controlling bracelet and flicked a drop of essence blood into it. The bracelet erupted with bright light. Patterns unfolded, forming a complex formation that hovered in the air like a living seal. Under Chu Yuan's control, it sank into Huanglong's forehead. In that instant, a connection snapped into place. Chu Yuan could feel Huanglong's life like a string in his hand. One thought, and Huanglong would die. If Huanglong ever dared to devour his master, the contract would kill him first. And if Chu Yuan died, Huanglong would die with him. Life bound to life. Of course, Chu Yuan could also terminate the contract whenever he wanted. After the binding, Chu Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly. Let's see if you can be enhanced 10,000 times. He focused the system's scanning ability on Huanglong. Nothing. No enhanceable prompt. Chu Yuan's gaze dimmed. I asked the system before if it could enhance other living creatures 10,000 times. It said it wasn't within the scope of explanation and told me to explore. So it really can't. He exhaled softly, thinking quickly. It seems living beings other than me can't be enhanced. But living, no. Dead, yes. Demon pills, essence blood, flesh, those can all be enhanced. Then another question followed immediately. If a beast is alive, but its essence blood leaves its body, can that be enhanced? What about its demon pill? Chu Yuan looked at Huanglong. Give me a drop of your essence blood. Huanglong was confused, but now that Chu Yuan was his master, he didn't hesitate. He forced out a drop and handed it over. Chu Yuan stored it in his space ring and tested it. This time, the system responded. It worked. Chu Yuan's eyes brightened. So anything that leaves the body becomes material and can be enhanced. Essence blood works. Demon pills should work too. He thought it through again, then stopped himself. Not now. This wild dragon just became my mount. Enhancing his demon pill 10,000 times would be too suspicious. He put away the thought and instead took out the half-saint dragon essence blood. Take it. Refine it. Huanglong received the drop like he was holding the sun. His entire body trembled with excitement. This essence blood, it matches me perfectly. Thank you, master. Chu Yuan almost laughed. Of course it matches you. It's literally your blood, just enhanced and returned. He kept his face steady. Refine it properly. My mount can't be weak. When you finish refining, I'll give you more benefits. Yes, master, Huanglong said honestly. Then his expression turned serious as he glanced toward Si Qiushui. That woman, she's dangerous. Even ignoring the fact she killed my clan brother, I chased her all this way, and she kept sacrificing her subordinates. No mercy at all. Master, be careful with her. Oh. Chu Yuan glanced at Si Qiushui with a hint of interest. Then he waved his hand at Huanglong. Change into human form. Looking at you like this is tiring. Yes, master. Huanglong's body flashed, and he transformed into an old man. Chu Yuan sighed quietly. When I have time, I'll find a stronger mount. Preferably a beautiful one. Preferably female. For now, Huanglong would do. His strength wasn't weak, and after refining that essence blood, he would only get stronger. That meant Chu Yuan wouldn't need to handle every problem himself. And Huanglong had another value. He had mastered Gungjin intent. If Huanglong released it for Chu Yuan to observe, Chu Yuan could comprehend faster and gain twice the result with half the effort. With that thought, Chu Yuan reached for the jade slip. The true trump card for pushing into the immortal realm. To comprehend the rules of destruction. Of course, he couldn't jump straight to rules. First came the foundation. The destruction intent. 2 hours later, Chu Yuan had already grasped several clear threads. He was only a step away from touching the prototype of the destruction intent. This speed wasn't just because of his terrifying talent and comprehension. It was also because he had already mastered the rules of the spear. Destruction and spear intent shared natural similarities, allowing him to take shortcuts others couldn't even imagine. If this continues, Chu Yuan thought calmly, I'll soon condense the true prototype of destruction intent. He was very satisfied. Then his gaze shifted. The woman had woken up. Si Qiushui opened her eyes slowly. The first thing she saw was a young man sitting cross-legged not far away. He was handsome, with sharp, heroic features and an indescribable presence between his brows. His eyes were bright, like stars. At this moment, he was also looking at her. So young, she thought. Yet his cultivation is on par with mine. Whose prodigy is this? Was he the one who saved me? No, that wild dragon was terrifying. He couldn't possibly defeat it head-on. Maybe he used some kind of trump card. Her thoughts stopped abruptly. She noticed the clothes on her body. A surge of humiliation and rage exploded in her chest. She lifted the robe slightly and realized she had been almost naked before. That meant, had he seen her body? Worse, when she was unconscious, did he touch her? How could she, a dignified princess, be defiled like this? Even if he was handsome. Even if he might have saved her. It was unacceptable. Boom. A terrifying killing intent burst from Si Qiushui's body. Chu Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly. Dense magical power surged around her, forming a clean, exquisite robe in an instant. A silver sword appeared in her hand as she stepped toward Chu Yuan. Did you cover this princess? She demanded coldly. Not only did I cover you, Chu Yuan replied calmly, I saved you from the wild dragon. gave you a healing pill, and pulled you back from death. His brow furrowed slightly. Did you read my entire body? Si Qiushui asked, her voice icy. It was unavoidable, Chu Yuan said lightly. But aside from that, I didn't touch you. Thief. Shame and fury flooded her eyes. She raised her sword and pointed it straight at Chu Yuan. Gouge out your eyes, she said coldly. Otherwise, I'll kill you. Chu Yuan stared at her in disbelief. I saved your life, he said incredulously, and this is how you treat your savior? Are you insane? He truly couldn't understand it. When he used to read novels, he always thought this kind of plot was absurd. And now it was happening to him. I saved you. I had no choice but to look. And you want to dig out my eyes? Where was even the most basic sense of gratitude? Impudent. Si Qiushui shouted angrily. How dare you speak to this princess like that? It is precisely because you saved me that I am only taking your eyes. Otherwise, you would already be dead. Will you do it yourself? She stepped closer, murderous intent surging, or shall I do it for you? I don't care if you're a princess or not, Chu Yuan said coldly. If you dare threaten me again, no one in this world will save you. He had no interest in humoring an ungrateful fool. He wasn't some brainless protagonist who lost the ability to think whenever a woman appeared. And frankly, this woman was only average-looking at best. If she were the empress of a great empire, maybe he'd tolerate her a bit longer. But acting this arrogant? Who gave her that confidence? Bold. Si Qiushui's eyes burned with rage. You dare threaten this princess? Today, I'll tear out your eyes with my own hands. The silver sword flashed. She stabbed straight for Chu Yuan's eyes with lethal intent. Idiot, Chu Yuan cursed casually. The blade stopped, caught cleanly between two fingers. In the next instant, black gold magical power condensed into a divine spear in Chu Yuan's hand. He thrust it forward without hesitation. The spear pierced straight through Si Qiushui's chest. Blood erupted. She screamed in agony. Blood spilled from her mouth as she stared at the spear that had pierced her heart, disbelief frozen on her face. So fast. She couldn't accept it. She was a genius with a rare spirit body, stronger than most in the same realm. She hadn't even had time to dodge. And he dared. He dared to kill her? You dare kill this princess, she gasped, hatred filling her eyes. I can save you, Chu Yuan said indifferently, and I can kill you. You brought this on yourself. This princess is the fourth princess of Ten-Thousandfold Kingdom. My father dotes on me the most. If you kill me, just wait for his revenge. A golden body realm expert will come. Your 9 clans will be wiped out. You're dead. Chu Yuan's expression didn't change. He's only in the golden body realm, he said calmly. If he dares to come, I don't mind wiping out his 9 clans first. His magical power. Si Qiushui's eyes widened. Then her body exploded into a cloud of blood mist. Chu Yuan used the spear to pick up her space ring and sighed softly. Bad luck. He genuinely couldn't understand it. In a world this dangerous, how could someone be so brainless and still survive until now? But after thinking for a moment, he shook his head. The forest is big. You get all kinds of birds. He checked the contents of the space ring. Quite a lot, actually. Master, Huanglong approached. You were right, Chu Yuan said calmly. She really wasn't worth anything. Huanglong looked at the lingering blood mist with unconcealed satisfaction. He had wanted her dead from the beginning. I plan to find a place to break into the Soul Palace realm, Chu Yuan continued. Any suggestions? If Master doesn't mind, Huanglong replied respectfully, my former desolate dragon cave would be suitable. Then that's where we're going. Chu Yuan stepped onto Huanglong's back, and the dragon shot into the sky. Decisive in killing. Calm temperament. Unfathomable strength. He's only in the magical power realm, and already this terrifying. When he reaches the Soul Palace realm, how monstrous will he be? I'm not even worthy to be his mount. But being able to follow him is a supreme blessing. Huanglong thought silently. Ten-Thousandfold Kingdom. Imperial Palace. Boom. A terrifying aura erupted, sweeping across the entire imperial city and pressing down on hundreds of millions of lives. Inside the palace, the Emperor of Ten-Thousandfold Kingdom stared at a shattered soul lamp. His face twisted with rage. You dare kill my beloved daughter? No matter who you are, you will pay the price. Men, head to the Baiduan Mountain restricted area. Xiaoshui went there. She must have died there. The royal bloodline of Tianfeng Kingdom carries a unique aura. Whoever kills her will be stained by it for 3 months. Our secret art can trace it. I want to see who has the guts of a bear and the courage of a leopard. Human or beast, it doesn't matter. They will all die. Then his voice turned even colder. Execute everyone who followed her to Baiduan Mountain. Wipe out their families. They will be buried with my daughter.
Hey everyone, Firescale Audiobooks here. If there's a novel you'd love to hear more of, you can support us on Patreon or Ko-fi. Depending on your tier, I'll make extra parts just for the stories you're most excited about. Usually I can only upload 4 to 5 parts of each novel, but with your support we can go beyond that. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. It helps more than you know.
Baiduanshan restricted area, deep outside, is infinitely close to the 3 real restricted areas. Huanglong Cave is only 10,000 miles away from the entrance to the 3 restricted areas. At this moment, in a huge cave, Chu Yuan sat cross-legged in the air, his own black gold divine light blooming. Around him, various powerful treasures appeared. Numerous semi-holy blood essences, semi-holy treasures, semi-holy elixirs, and middle-grade holy crystals. That's dragon's bloodgrass at the holy level of treasure medicine. What is the identity of the owner? Could it be that he is the biological son of the Holy Lord of the Holy Land? Huanglong, who was curled up to one side and preparing to practice, saw the scene and was immediately horrified to the extreme. You know, all kinds of semi-saint level things are hard to come by. The same is true for middle-grade holy crystals. But the most disappointing thing is what shocked it was the dragon bloodgrass. The treasures it and its 7th level desolate dragon clan member were guarding in this desolate dragon cave were the dragon bloodgrass. However, the dragon bloodgrass they were guarding was just that. It's only the 7th grade. And the master's dragon bloodgrass is actually a holy grade medicine. How can he not be shocked? In fact, this holy grade dragon bloodgrass is the 7th grade one used by Chu Yuan. The dragon's bloodgrass was obtained after being strengthened 10,000 times. And this 7th grade dragon's bloodgrass was naturally obtained from Si Qiushui's space ring. Part of Si Qiushui's 10 Soul Palace Realm Royal Guards were harvested from this 7th grade dragon. He died of bloodgrass. But he did pick it. The 7th grade dragon bloodgrass can wash the essence, let alone the Holy One. That kind of thing is not something it can covet. Once it has a wrong thought about its master, it will be destroyed by the master-servant contract in its mind. Of course, even if there is no master-servant contract, it will not dare to act recklessly. The master's strength is too strong. So strong that there is no end in sight. The holy dragon's bloodgrass cleanses the essence and marrow, plus various other treasures. This time, not only does it have to hit the Soul Palace realm, but it also has to break through a few more minor realms at once. One of the forbidden areas of Baiduan Mountain, the forbidden area of ice, deep inside. Every moment, snow is falling here, and the snow is flying heavily. The boundless cold air fills this place. It is extremely cold. If there is a divine elixir realm here, it will definitely turn into an ice sculpture if it cannot hold on for a moment. This is a truly restricted area. 6th level monsters are everywhere, and there are as many 7th level monsters as dogs. There are only 5 races of monsters here. Snow wolf, ice scorpion, snow fox, ice dragon, ice bear. In every race, there are 8th and 9th level demon kings. There is even a semi-saint level. In the deepest part of the restricted area, there is a magnificent palace made entirely of ice, located here. In the ice palace, icicles hold up the place. At the innermost position, there is an ice sculpture throne 100 feet high. On the throne sits an ice sculpture figure that looks human but not human. At this moment, in the center of the palace, a huge cauldron, also made of ice, was suspended from all directions by thick ice and snow chains. And around this huge furnace, there are 5 figures standing impressively, and the aura of each figure is at the semi-saint level. The huge gray and white snow wolf, with light blue light shining in its eyes. The extremely dark ice scorpion, only its poisonous hook is as transparent as crystal. The half-human, half-demon snow fox has 9 tails moving around irregularly behind her. The whole body is like an ice and snow dragon made of crystal, looking the most noble. The ice bear is covered in snow-white fur. Apart from being larger than ordinary bears and having crystal-colored claws, there doesn't seem to be anything special about it. There is no doubt that the half-saints of the 5 major races are gathered here. At this time, they maintained a stiff movement and poured their semi-holy power into the ice cauldron. In the cauldron, there are many 7th, 8th, and 9th grade high-end elixirs, as well as a looming petite figure. A semi-saint level ice and snow dragon speaks indifferently. Human elixir. Boom. 3 days later, in the Huanglong cave, Chu Yuan has gone through the holy dragon blood grass to cleanse his essence and marrow, and his body has grown a bit stronger. His qi and blood are as deep as the sea, as thick as a powerful humanoid monster. No, that terrifying power of qi and blood, even the monsters are ashamed. Even Desolate Dragon, who has refined a lot of semi-saint essence and blood, is not even 1,000th as good as Chu Yuan in terms of energy and blood. What kind of freak is the master? Is he really a human? Even the cubs of the pure-blooded true dragons of my dragon clan are not as good as their masters. The master is too mysterious. What is his origin? The wild dragon was directly frightened by the power of Chu Yuan's energy and blood. It had no doubt that Chu Yuan could explode it into blood mist with just his physical fists. My body, just like my soul, was strengthened 10,000 times when I was very weak. And with the improvement of cultivation level, every time you advance to a higher level, your physical body will also strengthen. In addition, practicing the divine elephant Shanhe Jin, a method that focuses on body training, has tempered the body again. I have taken many high-grade medicines and elixirs that increase qi and blood before. This time, after washing the essence and marrow of the holy dragon's blood grass and absorbing some semi-holy blood essence, the vitality and blood of the physical body have been greatly enhanced again. That's why it's so terrifying. Chu Yuan sighed. Call. As Chu Yuan exhaled and inhaled, his energy, blood, and magical power surged. The next moment, the black gold magical power suddenly swept out, majestic to the extreme, vast and infinite, with immeasurable divine power. The master is about to break through the Soul Palace realm. Huanglong hurriedly ran outside the cave, fearing that he would be accidentally affected. The so-called Soul Palace realm is to open a soul palace in the Niwen Palace of the Sea of Consciousness, where the soul can settle in and warm up the consciousness. Soul Palace, open it to me. While Chu Yuan was talking to himself, the black gold magical power stirred up, affecting the power of the soul, shaking the Niwen Palace of the Sea of Consciousness. This process is very dangerous. If you accidentally hurt the soul, you may become an idiot. The power of Chu Yuan's soul is so powerful. Others need countless attacks to break through the Niwen Palace. But as for Chu Yuan, with just one impact, the Niwen Palace opened instantly. Then, Chu Yuan's soul opened. The power poured directly into it, and the soul also poured into it. Waves of extremely powerful divine consciousness were brewing and being born. The master has such terrifying divine soul pressure. Huanglong's face turned pale. The moment the soul entered the Niwen Palace, the pressure of Chu Yuan's soul was naturally released, making Huanglong extremely frightened. It is a peak 6th level monster, and its soul is at least equivalent to the 9th level of the human soul palace. The existence of the peak, but its soul seems so insignificant in front of Chu Yuan's soul. The pressure of the soul itself makes its soul shaken. For Chu Yuan, the impact on the soul palace realm is... It was a matter of course, it was easy, there was no bottleneck at all, and as he opened up the Soul Palace realm, his realm also directly broke through to the Soul Palace realm, Tianyan sect, in the palace of the Great Elder. At this moment, Yu Tianyi was lying on his side on the jade bed, ready to check the latest news coming from the jade tablet. The messenger jade tablets are almost all of the same kind used in Tianan sect, no, to be precise, in Tiannong Kingdom and even in other surrounding countries. This kind of communication jade token can only communicate text information, and its range is limited. The two parties must be within a radius of 100,000 miles to communicate with each other. Otherwise, the summons cannot be sent out. This kind of thing is suitable for small-scale use. For example, the last time Chu Yuan killed people in the outer sect, it was the elders of the outer sect who summoned the elders of the inner sect, and those elders of the inner sect rushed over. But the range is too big, beyond 100,000 miles, it becomes useless. For example, when Chu Yuan killed Si Qiushui had a jade token for messaging, but she was too far away from the imperial city of Tianbong Kingdom and could not send the message out at all. Let alone the imperial city of Tianbong Kingdom, even if she wanted to send a message to the city lord who was a royal member of Hongduan City, she couldn't do it. The outer reaches of the Hongduan Mountains alone are 500,000 miles away, not to mention the 400,000 miles within the restricted area of the Baiduan Mountains. Therefore, until Si Qiushui died, he was unable to call for help. In fact, there are even more powerful jade tokens that can communicate for millions of miles, or even tens of millions of miles. However, it is too expensive and too rare. Those who can send messages for millions of miles are very few in Tianbong Kingdom, and those who can send messages for tens of thousands of miles are rare. As for the more advanced ones, it is not only able to transmit text, but even pictures. However, in a backward country like Tianbong Kingdom, no one has such a thing. However, although there is no powerful communication jade card, there is an organization called Wanchitong. This organization is very large and exists in many countries. It is responsible for delivering all kinds of breaking news. Of course, it's not free. Anyone who wants to know some information needs to go to a nearby know-it-all agency to purchase it. After all, it is not easy for a know-it-all organization. If you want to deliver news, someone must be stationed every 100,000 miles, and some places are extremely dangerous. Of course, in places that are too dangerous, they are not stupid and tough. They will take detours and build a complete intelligence route. They will also give up where it really doesn't work, such as the Baiduan Mountain restricted area. It is precisely because of the existence of such an organization that all kinds of news will not spread too slowly. Not long ago, Feng Yun, the core disciple of Tianen sect, went to the Wanchitong garrison in Tianen City and purchased some of the latest breaking news. Of course, these breaking news can be chosen, such as specific people and specific places. The one she chose was Chu Yuan. Of course, it wasn't what she wanted, but what Yutiani asked her to do. In the past 2 months, Yutiani, the Great Elder, has often paid attention to Chu Yuan. Every 3 days, Feng Yun is asked to buy news about Chu Yuan. Of course, not everyone has the news, only people who have done more exciting things have it. And Chu Yuan happened to be in this category. In the past 2 months, the speed at which Chu Yuan understood the meaning of the spear was really astonishing. It was unique in the Tianbong Kingdom, so it was naturally spread by others. 3 days ago, Yutiani received the news that Chu Yuan would soon realize 2.5 levels of spear intention. It's been 3 days, he should have entered the Baiduan Mountain restricted area. However, with his cultivation level, it might not be easy to find Qingxue. It's a pity. After that battle, I was too seriously injured, my level plummeted, and I couldn't use a lot of my strength. Otherwise, I would have to break through the forbidden areas in Baidu Mountain, alas. Yutiani's face was filled with loneliness, and then he began to carefully check the Jane medal for the latest news about Chu Yuan. What a good boy, you really have realized 2.5 levels of spear intention. He actually broke through 7.5 small realms in a row. Hiss. How come he is even more evil than I was before? Yutiani was very surprised. What? The golden realm of Tianong Temple. Damn it. In Yutiani's eyes, murderous intent emerged. How about Qingxue's brother? Sure enough, isn't he the opponent of Tianlong Temple Bald Donkey? Etc. Chu Yuan suddenly mastered the rules of gunmanship? Real or fake? He actually killed the bald donkey of Tianlong Temple in an instant. Could it be that it was really the rules of the gun art? The stone tablet contains the meaning of Deshangchang, the reincarnation of an ancient saint, etc. Yutiani suddenly slapped his brain. Am I out of my mind? Why didn't you think of this before? His situation is really consistent with the reincarnation of an ancient saint. Yu Tianyi thought about it carefully. It seems that Chu Yuan is really like this. How could I be so stupid? Why did I still suspect that he had been taken away from me? Yu Tianyi smiled bitterly. Then he laughed. Okay. Since he is the reincarnation of an ancient saint, he has many means. Maybe he can bring Qingxue back. It's just that we have to hurry up. Qingxue's condition is getting worse and worse. Yu Tianyi glanced at the soul lamp on the bedside. The soul lamp is connected to the master soul and can synchronize with it. If the master is alive, the soul lamp will never go out. On the contrary, the soul lamp will go out after death. Moreover, the soul lamp will never go out. If the lamp dims, it means that the owner's condition is getting worse. At this moment, Gu Qingxue's soul lamp is flickering, sometimes bright and sometimes dim. This situation has been going on for more than a month. It's been months. Crossing the city lord bowed down. An extremely huge golden chariot pulled by 5 sixth-order dragons stopped in the city lord's palace. A burly man in royal robes stepped out of the chariot. The majesty that has been in the upper position for a long time, and the look between the brows is even more calm and majestic. Si Qiuheng pays homage to his majesty. Si Qiuheng, the lord of Hongduan City, knelt down and worshipped on the ground. Nephews don't have to be polite. Si Danang, the emperor of Tianbong Kingdom, waved his hand. Thank you, your majesty. Si Qiuheng stood up. Qiushui fell into the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain. I asked you to send someone to investigate. How did the investigation go? Si Danong asked. Back to your majesty. We have sent people in to investigate using secret methods, and the results will be out soon, but Si Qiuheng paused. It seems that Chu Yuan is also in the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain. It is not ruled out that he did it. If someone else did it, it would be easier to deal with. But what if Chu Yuan did it? Is Chu Yuan the one who was rumored to be a waste of the Tianen sect and then soared into the sky? A few days ago, he even mastered the rules of the art of spear and was considered to be the reincarnation of an ancient saint. Si Danang said in a deep voice. Exactly. Si Qiuheng Dao. If he really killed Qiushui, even if he was the reincarnation of an ancient saint, he would still die. Si Danyang said seriously. Hearing this, Si Qiuheng's pupils shrank suddenly. You must know that Chu Yuan masters the rules of the gun. It is rumored that he instantly killed Si Kong, who was at the 2nd level of the Golden Body Realm. Why, Si Danyang seems to have not afraid of the opponent. Is there any earth-shattering trump card? Get ready and follow me to the Baiduan Mountain restricted area. Si Danong said. Yes. Si Qiuheng nodded. Suddenly, Si Danyang looked towards the horizon and narrowed his eyes. A senior monk from Tianlong Temple. The immortal realm has actually come, and there are more than one. Then Chu Yuan is going to be in big trouble. It's best if Qiushui is not killed by him, otherwise, he will be in even more trouble. Everyone, Hongduan City has arrived. It's time to get off the flying boat. Qianqi said on a flying boat in the Fadian Pavilion branch of Hongduan City. Ever since Mr. Chu understood the rules of spear art and left the great accomplishment spear intent on the stone tablet in the forbidden area of Baiduan Mountain, the number of people who come to Hongduan City every day has increased by more than 10 times. Many people are going to witness Deshang Qianyi. After all, according to rumors, Mr. Chu is almost definitely the reincarnation of an ancient saint. There are many strong men in the Soul Palace realm who want to understand the spear intention he left behind and thus break through to the Golden Body realm. He left behind quite a legacy. Hey, I really didn't expect that Mr. Chu grew up so fast. 2 months ago, he helped Lao Chan kill the 5th-level mutated Queen Bee and saved Lao Chan's life. It's only been more than 2 months now, so it can kill the Golden Body realm instantly. It feels like a dream. It's unbelievable. Qianqi was filled with emotion. At this moment, it was thousands of miles away from the city. 2 barefoot monks, one fat and one thin, one old and one young, were walking slowly. The fat monk is very young and the thin monk is very old. Every time they take a step, a golden lotus will grow under their feet. Every step crosses thousands of miles in an instant. Hongduan City has arrived. The fat monk stretched his waist. There's no need to stay, let's go directly. Chu Yuan is rumored to be the reincarnation of an ancient saint. Although he doesn't really believe it, it's better to kill him as soon as possible to avoid long nights and dreams. The thin monk is old and skinny, as skin and bones, but his eyes are shining with murderous intent. The reincarnation of an ancient saint is pure nonsense. The fat monk said disdainfully, according to the poor monk's opinion, he is at most a semi-saint who has understood some rules. For some reason, he took away the one named Chu Yuan. Then pretend to be a ghost. Which reincarnation of the ancient saints was not accompanied by powerful visions of heaven and earth when he was born or awakened to wisdom. But I have never heard of any strange phenomena appearing in Tianfeng Kingdom this day. No matter what happened to him, anyway, the person who killed me, Tianong Temple, beheaded him first. To avoid future troubles. Let's go. After the skinny man finished speaking, he headed towards the Hongduan Mountains. The fat monk followed closely behind. Just when the two monks from Tianong Temple were staying above Hongduan City, a series of terrifying Sanskrit sounds enveloped Hongduan City, making countless people feel pain. Fortunately, they left just as quickly as they came. What happened just now? The Sanskrit sound reaches my ears. This is the rumored method of Tianong Temple. Madhu, this is too overbearing. Be careful, if they hear it, your mere cultivation in Guihai realm will be dead. Have the strong men from Tenria Temple arrived? It seems that he is going to seek revenge on Chu Yuan. But isn't it said that Chu Yuan is the reincarnation of an ancient saint? How dare the people from Tenriaji Temple do that? Who knows, but since people dare to take action, they are certainly sure. I have a hunch that the next Hongduan Mountains and Baiduan Mountain restricted areas will not be peaceful. Damn it, isn't it obvious? Still using a hunch. Many monks in Hongduan City started discussing. At this moment, Huanglong Cave. As Chu Yuan's cultivation level broke through to the Soul Palace realm, his whole body underwent a major transformation. The black gold magical power became thicker and vaster, his body and blood improved again, and his aura became more and more powerful, as if a great terror is awakening, with boundless divine light, like a god or a demon. Faintly, he could see a palace towering above the sky behind his head, and in the palace, a tall figure was sitting cross-legged, releasing terrifying divine consciousness and immeasurable divine power. The divine power was as powerful as a prison and extremely terrifying. It was none other than Chu Yuan, the phantom reflected by the Soul Palace. His breath has not restrained. His improvement in cultivation has not stopped. Instead, they continued to soar and continued to make breakthroughs in the Soul Palace realm. The peak of the first level of Soul Palace realm. Second level of Soul Palace realm. The second level peak of Soul Palace realm. The third level of Soul Palace realm. The third level peak of Soul Palace realm. Every moment, his cultivation increased exponentially, becoming more and more terrifying. In the end, his cultivation stayed at the peak of the third level of the Soul Palace realm. Moreover, his foundation was very solid and extremely perfect. If he just blindly in pursuit of the realm, he could even break through to the peak of the ninth level of the Soul Palace realm, but he did not do that, instead choosing to play it slow and steady. The state of cultivation is important, but the foundation is also very important. Cultivation is like building a house. Tall buildings rise from the ground. The better the foundation, the higher you can build. As expected of the master, this is too terrifying. Most Soul Palace realms in the human race, which one needs decades or even hundreds of years of accumulation to break through a small realm, even those who are proud of heaven, at least need a few years and a few months, and the master. Just as soon as he broke through to the Soul Palace realm, his cultivation level continued to improve, and he directly broke through several smaller realms again. This is too outrageous. In particular, after others have made breakthroughs in cultivation, they need to spend a lot of time consolidating their cultivation. However, the master continues to make breakthroughs, but his cultivation does not need to be consolidated at all. It is extremely stable and solid. I really admire it. It is a great honor to follow such a master. Huanglong has been deeply impressed by Chu Yuan. In its view, Chu Yuan is the kind of true pride of heaven who can participate in the great struggle. It believes that Chu Yuan's future achievements will not be as simple as the Holy Realm. But to be able to reach that kind of realm that is beyond the reach of all living beings, no, it should be the kind of realm that is beyond the reach of all living beings. It's a pity that I'm such a waste. The half-holy dragon blood given by the master obviously suits me very well, but until now I haven't refined even 1,000th of it. If I can refine it, I will definitely be able to become a pure-blood wild dragon. A true pure-blooded dragon. I just don't know how long it will take to complete the refining process. After my refining is completed, I am afraid that the master will have already broken through to a higher realm. By then, I will be of no use to the master at all. Thinking of this, Huanglong couldn't help but feel lonely. Being able to follow such a master was an honor for it, and it was also an opportunity for it. However, it couldn't grasp this opportunity. With just the blood of the semi-holy dragon, he could refine it. The transformation is extremely slow. In fact, you can't blame it. The semi-holy dragon blood is obtained after its essence and blood are strengthened 10,000 times. With its current cultivation level, it is impossible to complete it because it can't bear it at all. The power carried by the essence and blood is like taking out a jar originally filled with water, increasing the quality and quantity of the water 10,000 times, and then putting it into the jar. This jar can hold it. Can it bear it? Obviously it can't. The Huanglong has only refined the part it can bear. Even so, its strength is more than 10 times stronger. The progress is too slow if you want to refine it quickly, unless its cultivation level is improved. The higher the cultivation level, the more it can bear, and it will be easier to refine it, but it is too difficult to improve its cultivation level. Because the improvement of the monster's cultivation level is actually the same as that of the human race. If a 6th-level monster wants to advance to the 7th level, it must also comprehend an artistic conception to a small extent, and Huanglong's Gingjin artistic conception is only 2.5 levels. It took nearly 1,000 years to comprehend the 2.5 levels, so it was impossible to comprehend the 3rd level in a short time. At this moment, Chu Yuan felt the surge in his body. With boundless cultivation, he clenched his fists with satisfaction. This terrifying power is so refreshing. Moreover, with the Soul Palace realm, with divine consciousness, it will be more convenient to detect anything in the future. Let me try it. Test your consciousness. The next moment, with Chu Yuan as the center, spiritual consciousness spread out. 10 miles, 100 miles, 1,000 miles, 10,000 miles, 100,000 miles. It can't spread to the back. Is there anything blocking spiritual consciousness over the 3 restricted areas? Is it a formation? Or other restrictions? Forget it, never mind. Look at other places. Hey, the forbidden air here is 10 times higher than outside. It can fly up to 3,000 meters outside, but here, it can fly 30,000 meters. However, it is only 70,000 to 80,000 miles away from Huanglong Cave, and it can only fly 30,000 meters. Further out, it is also only 3,000 meters. Moreover, not only is the air restricted, spiritual consciousness cannot detect higher places. It seems that there is indeed a powerful formation or restriction. In one thought, all things come together in one's mind. Is this the Soul Palace realm? Chu Yuan was feeling the magical effect of his spiritual consciousness. Wherever his spiritual consciousness passed, he could see all the scenes. He saw many scenes. There were monsters and humans fighting, and there were monsters staring at those who were about to mature. Treasure medicine, some people are fighting each other, some people are sneaking, and some. In some hidden woods and caves, men and women are sticking together to play a game of mastery, and there are monsters and beasts. This happens to males and females too. Oh my god, he also saw a dark-skinned human being attacking a female lizard. Is this something he can see? Chu Yuan took it back without paying. Divine consciousness, he thought of a question. His divine soul is already powerful, so his divine consciousness can cover more than 100,000 miles. How much can it cover in other Soul Palace realms? So, he asked, Desolate dragon, my spiritual consciousness can only cover a radius of 100,000 miles. How much can your spiritual consciousness cover? Although the desolate dragon is not at the Soul Palace realm, the sixth-order monster is equivalent to the Soul Palace realm and can also release divine consciousness. What's more, the desolate dragon is still a sixth-order peak monster that is comparable to the ninth level of the Soul Palace realm. Divine consciousness? Owner? Wait. Huang Long suddenly widened his eyes. It's just divine consciousness, what's wrong? Chu Yuan asked puzzledly. Master, you just said, how much radius can your consciousness cover? 100,000 miles. Huang Long swallowed his saliva. The movement of his huge throat and his shocked look were quite funny. Well, a little over 100,000 miles, is there any problem? Chu Yuan Dao. God, my master. Huang Long shouted, in this forbidden area of Baidu Mountain, spiritual consciousness is suppressed. My divine consciousness can only cover 800 or 900 miles, not 1,000 miles. Master, how did you do it? Moreover, did you use your spiritual consciousness just now? I don't feel it all that, Master. Your consciousness is much stronger than mine. After hearing what Huang Long said, Chu Yuan understood immediately. No wonder Huang Long was so shocked. It turned out that he was really outrageous, so outrageous. Is it more than 100 times stronger than the wild dragon? And can't Huang Long feel the release of my spiritual consciousness? Chu Yuan nodded slightly. It's normal to think about it, because his soul has been enhanced 10,000 times. Divine consciousness is only a manifestation of one aspect of the divine soul. Furthermore, I am now at the peak of the third level of the Soul Palace realm. As my cultivation continues to improve, my spiritual consciousness will become stronger and stronger. Moreover, it should not only be more than 100 times stronger than the wild dragon, but the suppression of the divine consciousness here is that the stronger the divine consciousness, the stronger the suppression. Chu Yuan concluded, after all, he has a soul that has been enhanced 10,000 times and then breaks through and improved all the way. How can it be possible that he is only 100 times stronger than the wild dragon? That is absolutely impossible. Therefore, firstly, because of his cultivation, because he has not reached the peak of the ninth level of the Soul Palace realm, he is not at the same level as the wild dragon. Secondly, the suppression here becomes more and more severe the further you go. I just don't know if the semi-saint's spiritual consciousness can cover 100,000 miles here, Chu Yuan murmured. Congratulations to the master for your great improvement. Huang Long congratulated. Chu Yuan nodded. The Soul Palace realm is indeed good, and the strength has improved a lot. Moreover, in the Soul Palace realm, with a lifespan of 3,000 years, you can live for a long time. The Divine Elixir realm has a lifespan of 800 years. The Supernatural Power realm has a lifespan of 1,500 years. The Soul Palace realm has a lifespan of 3,000 years. The Golden Body realm has a lifespan of 5,000 years. The Immortal realm starts with tens of thousands. Of course, it is not unreasonable to have more lifespan as you reach the later stages. The greater the gap, the harder it is to improve, and naturally it takes a lot of time to accumulate, etc. Chu Yuan seemed to have thought of something. He widened his eyes and thought to himself, can Chu Yuan be enhanced 10,000 times? Why didn't you think of that before? Wrong. To be precise, why didn't the system prompt me before? System, can Chu Yuan be enhanced 10,000 times? Chu Yuan asked directly from his heart. Ding. Chu Yuan can also be regarded as a resource of the host, which can be enhanced 10,000 times. The system replied. Hear the words. Chu Yuan's face couldn't help but darken, and he thought to himself, then why hasn't it been mentioned together with the physical body, soul, aptitude, and bloodline before? Ding. Some resources need to be discovered and explored by the host itself. The system prompt sounded again. Chu Yuan. All right. For a moment, he was speechless. Can you blame the system? What people said seems to make sense. That's all. It's not too late to know now. System, manifest the longevity essence, and I will enhance it 10,000 times. Next, Chu Yuan said. Host's longevity, 3,500 years can be enhanced 10,000 times, yes/no. Soul Palace Realm, lifespan of 3,000 years. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilu Novel Network. This 3,000 years is not the highest, but the lowest. It is the starting point. An ordinary Soul Palace realm can live for 3,000 years. And some in the Soul Palace realm have energy and blood far beyond the same level, and physical strength far beyond the same level, and some practice wood-type exercises that can prolong life. Naturally, they can live longer than ordinary Soul Palace realms. There is also the special constitution of the wood spirit body or other constitutions with strong vitality, which can easily live longer. There are even life-prolonging elixirs that can be taken to extend your life. However, life extension is not endless. The Soul Palace realm can extend your life by up to 500 years. In other words, 3,500 years is the ultimate. The human race is like this. As for monsters, their lifespans are several times longer than those of humans. This is a blessing, there is no other way. And Chu Yuan's longevity is already at the extreme Soul Palace level. 10,000 times enhanced. Chu Yuan did not hesitate. He directly chose the 10,000 times enhancement. As for waiting until he reaches a higher level of cultivation and has more longevity, he can then enhance it. It's not that Chu Yuan has never thought about it. It's just that he feels that his longevity is already long enough. After being strengthened 10,000 times, it will be even longer. And these lifespans have long been enough for him to grow to be invincible or even immortal. After all, he is a cheat with his system. If he can't become invincible in the shortest time, isn't he a waste that the system can't carry? 100,000 years, no, it can be longer, up to 1,000,000 years. After all, some time travelers can live for thousands of years. He can't be too bad. If he can't live forever in 1,000,000 years, just find a piece of tofu and kill him. So, since he feels that he can achieve eternal life in 1,000,000 years at most, no matter how much life you have, it doesn't matter now. Strengthen it. Maybe it will bring some unexpected improvement to your strength. Ding! The 10,000 times enhancement was successful, and the host's lifespan was increased to 35 million years. The host's body will receive a baptism of longevity. 35 million years. Unimaginably long. Moreover, aren't the benefits of longevity baptism coming? As soon as the system finished speaking, Chu Yuan felt that his body was sublimating inexplicably, and a wave of vitality appeared in his body. In an instant, his body was improved, but it didn't seem to be improved much. Ding! Congratulations to the host for awakening his physique, the acquired immortality. The system prompt sounded suddenly. Damn it. Chu Yuan was immediately stunned. Can this create a physique? I also have a special physique? If you say you're not excited, that's a lie. System, what is immortality and acquired immortality? Chu Yuan asked. Ding! Immortality is divided into innate and acquired. Innate immortality. When some creatures are born, their longevity is 1,000 times stronger than that of creatures of the same level, and they can form innate immortality. The innate immortal body is a gift from heaven and man upon birth. Acquired immortality. After a creature is born, due to some special reasons, its longevity is 1,000 times stronger than that of creatures of the same level, and it can form an acquired immortality. If the acquired immortal body has lower qualifications than those of heaven and humans, then it will be upgraded to those of heaven and humans. If it is the talent of heaven and man or exceeds the talent of heaven and man, it will no longer be promoted. Note, whether it is a congenital immortality body or an acquired immortality body, they are essentially the same. The only characteristic is long life, strong vitality, and a gift from heaven and man. Besides, it has no other effect. After reading the explanation of the system, Chu Yuan's forehead was covered with black lines. I thought it was some kind of awesome physique, but it turns out that it is just a manifestation of living a long life. Moreover, it is a gift from heaven and man. Isn't this the most common special physique? No wonder, after the so-called longevity baptism, I didn't get much improvement. How could a physique that requires 1,000 times the lifespan of a creature of the same level to awaken be so ordinary? Chu Yuan couldn't understand. But it doesn't seem to be without benefits. If you live longer, it may be easier to understand the artistic conception or rules of time. Chu Yuan sighed. At first it sounded like a pretty awesome name, but in the end, it was almost just about living longer. The system is also a resource. After being enhanced 10,000 times, will there be any transformation? Chu Yuan said secretly. The system is awakened, and it can naturally be enhanced 10,000 times. However, he did not dare to have high hopes. After all, a physique that is meant to live a long time, after being enhanced 10,000 times, will it simply become a living thing? Longer? That's all. Living a long life is not bad. At least you don't have to worry about running out of life. Chu Yuan also looked away. His lifespan is already tens of millions of years. If it is enhanced 10,000 times, it will be hundreds of billions of years. TSK. Let alone this kind of fantasy world, even in the prehistoric world, hundreds of billions of years will last. Quite a few. Host physique, acquired immortality, can be enhanced 10,000 times, yes/no. The familiar selection panel appears. Chu Yuan clicked proceed without hesitation. Next moment. System prompt sounds. Ding. Successfully enhanced 10,000 times and obtained eternal immortality. Chu Yuan was stunned. Such an awesome name? It shouldn't be too bad. System, introduce the eternal immortal body. Ding. Eternal immortality body, supreme physique, supreme qualifications, unique in eternity, immortality. Fan. Chu Yuan's longevity had already reached the extreme Soul Palace realm, which lasted 3,500 years. After being enhanced 10,000 times, it became 35 million years. After being enhanced 10,000 times again, it would be 350 billion years at least. A lifespan that is 1,000 times stronger than a creature of this same level can awaken the immortal body. But for Chu Yuan's first 10,000 times enhancement, the lifespan was actually 10,000 times stronger than a creature of the same level. It is 10 times the conditions for awakening the immortal body. However, it is also just the awakening of the acquired immortal body. I haven't awakened a more powerful physique. After the acquired immortal body was strengthened 10,000 times, the physique obtained made Chu Yuan smile, especially after receiving a systematic explanation. Eternal immortality body. Supreme physique. Supreme qualification. The only one in eternity. Immortal. This introduction alone is so domineering. Spiritual body, divine body, holy body, Taoist body. Since it dares to be called the supreme body, it at least started with the Taoist body. And the supreme talent also made him happy. Although he didn't know how powerful it was definitely more powerful than his current 7.5 times the talent of a heavenly being. And there is no doubt that he is the only one in the entire world, even in eternity, with his immortal body, he is the only one. As for immortality, one is longevity, and the other is immortality. The original vitality is endless and indelible. At this moment, all kinds of information about the eternal body poured into Chu Yuan's mind. Chu Yuan quickly sat cross-legged in the air and closed his eyes. At the same time, Chu Yuan's body also underwent horrific changes, and an eternal aura emitted from him. In an instant, his body, blood, bones, soul, aptitude, understanding, everything about him was undergoing a huge transformation. An eternal and everlasting momentum is gathering. At this moment, Huang Long was dumbfounded. The owner was just talking to it, but in the blink of an eye, he was sitting there cross-legged. Moreover, how could the aura on his body be so terrifying? It fell directly to the ground, and it's the body, blood, bones, and soul are all trembling instinctively. It can't stop even if it wants to. It is too small, like an ant facing the sky. Its pupils are shaking, and it is terrified. It buries its head in the sky. On the ground, I didn't dare to raise my head. Boom! At this moment, the sky of Baiduan Mountain, Tianfeng Kingdom, countless continents, etc. In the vision of the blue sky, the long river of time passes by. In just a blink of an eye, a figure that transcends heaven and earth, steps on chaos and holds the boundless heavens in its hands, walks in the long river of time. He, the majesty, is boundless and supreme. Hundreds of millions of years have passed, and the years have become eternities. He still stands tall. Although it is just a vision, it still conveys the aura of majesty that is arbitrary and immortal, in the eternal blue sky. In front of this figure in the image, even though it is a being far beyond countless realms of the holy realm, it feels as small as an ant. At this moment, countless creatures raised their heads and stared at the sky. There were even powerful beings staring at in the chaos. Because visions are everywhere, countless creatures are dumbfounded. Some ancient beings in the Holy Land and the forbidden beings of the Supreme Orthodoxy solemnly deduce the secrets and want to know the visions. Why did it arise? Not to mention the distant places, Hongduan City, Hongduan Mountains, and the Baiduan Mountain restricted area. The people and monsters here all raised their heads and stared at the sky in shock. At this time, Huanglong restrained his trembling body and raised his head slightly to glance at the sky. No one could see the face of that majestic and boundless figure, but Huanglong knew that that figure must be its owner. Because the source of the vision in the blue sky is none other than the Master. At this moment, behind the Master is the shadow of the eternal blue sky. I was wrong, I couldn't be more wrong. The proud son of heaven, these words are simply blasphemous to the Master. The Master doesn't need to compete with Dao Dao. Master, he is destined to suppress an era. Suppress all the proud men of heaven and the peerless evildoers. No one can compete with the Master. In front of the Master, the avenue will be eclipsed. The Master is destined to suppress all dissent in the world. I, the wild dragon, am just a low-level mixed-blood dragon. How could I be able to follow my Master? It is my great fortune to be able to follow my Master. Even if I die, I will die without regrets. The wild dragon sighed. It felt that it was the luckiest mount in the world. The vision came suddenly and dispersed quickly. In less than half an hour, the vision disappeared. This indicates that Chu Yuan's physique has completely transformed. Fortunately, the eternal immortal body is obtained by strengthening it 10,000 times, and there is a system to help the integration. Otherwise, I don't know how long it will take to complete the transformation. Chu Yuan murmured. What an eternal immortal body! Chu Yuan clenched his fists, looked at himself, and was extremely satisfied. He has transformed perfectly, and there is endless vitality in his body. Now, even if he is beaten into blood mist, he can be reborn. Moreover, he can be reborn countless times. Times until his origin is completely destroyed. Make a breakthrough in your cultivation. After feeling that he could no longer suppress his cultivation, Chu Yuan decisively chose to let go. The fourth level of Soul Palace Realm. The peak of the fourth level of Soul Palace Realm. The eighth level of the Soul Palace Realm. The peak of the eighth level of the Soul Palace Realm. Ninth level of Soul Palace Realm. The peak of the ninth level of the Soul Palace Realm. In the blink of an eye, he broke through to the extreme Soul Palace Realm. You know, he had just broken through to the Soul Palace Realm not long ago. However, it's not over yet. The golden body of Dharma. Congeal. Chu Yuan whistled softly. Golden body realm. It is necessary to use the power of Xiaocheng's artistic conception to communicate with the power of heaven and earth, and combine it with his own strength to condense the golden body and condense the Dharma. Chu Yuan used Xiaocheng's spear intention, of course. He has mastered the rules of the gun, but to condense the golden body, he only needs the power of Xiaocheng's artistic conception to enter the body, the power of communication between heaven and earth to enter the body, the power of supernatural powers to join, and the power of the soul to break the soul. The shackles of the palace condensed the golden body. Suddenly, golden light bloomed in Chu Yuan's body. His flesh and blood body's defense increased greatly, and the endless power of heaven and earth condensed his true self behind him. Dharma. Yes. In this world, what is condensed is the Dharma of the self. It is not the kind of fancy, which is the law of the heaven and earth. There is no such thing as chaotic Dharma. The artistic conception is just a tool and power. The self is the truth. Behind Chu Yuan, the Dharma of the self is quickly condensed. It is also able to communicate with the power of heaven and earth, and the increase in combat power is terrifying. Golden Body Realm, first level. Golden Body Realm, second level peak. The sixth level of the Golden Body Realm. The peak of the sixth level of the Golden Body Realm. The seventh level of the Golden Body Realm. The ninth level of the Golden Body Realm. The peak of the ninth level of the Golden Body Realm. Boom. Deqingqiang means immortality. Immortal Realm first level. It wasn't until he broke through to the first level of immortality that Chu Yuan's cultivation stopped. In just a short period of time, his cultivation level jumped directly from the Soul Palace realm to the Golden Body Realm and reached the Immortal Realm. If the previous ones are included, then he has reached the immortal state from the Magical Realm. How outrageous. In fact, the cultivation level can still be improved, but in the Immortal Realm, one needs to understand the artistic conception of life and death, but I have not understood it. Therefore, it stopped. To read exciting novels, go to Feilu Novel Network. However, with my qualifications, it won't take long for me to understand. Chu Yuan is really satisfied with his current strength. Who would have thought that he just had a sudden idea to increase his lifespan 10,000 times and created an awesome immortal body? Let his cultivation level soar straight away. Take a look at the properties panel. Chu Yuan thought. Then he checked. Host, Chu Yuan. Physique, eternal immortality. Qualification. Cultivation, level 1 immortal realm. Kung Fu, He Yuan infinite technique, top grade heaven level, small success. God, Elephant Mountain and River Power, top grade heaven level, small success. Martial arts, Xianlong spear technique, Xian level best, perfect. Avenue, first level gun lane rules. Chu Yuan's expression was extremely strange. What does it mean that his qualifications are all question marks? Could it be a system bug? That's all, let's just say it's a question mark. As long as you're strong, it's a supreme qualification after all. As for how strong you are, Chu Yuan looked at the 2 heaven-level skills and said, you will know after you try it. Next, Chu Yuan plans to practice 2 heaven-level skills to test how powerful his aptitude is. The master actually broke through to the immortal realm in one breath. As expected of the master, Huang Long was not shocked at all. The master jumped directly to the Golden Body Realm and became immortal. Isn't this normal? Sure enough, it is the Deshang spear intention. It seems that this Chu Yuan is really not something to be underestimated. It would be better to kill him as soon as possible. Walk. In front of the stone monument in the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain, the thin monk from Tianlong Temple took a look and said, that vision in the blue sky just now, the fat monk couldn't come back to his senses for a long time. Maybe some great person was born. The thin monk thought for a while and said, 500 years ago, wasn't there a more terrifying vision than this? At that time, the boundless chaotic vision lasted for 3 months. Rumor has it that the legendary chaos body may be born. Yes, if you didn't say it, I almost couldn't remember it. The fat monk said, forget it, it doesn't matter what the vision is, as long as it's not that of Chu Yuan. Of course it can't be him. The thin monk firmly believed that an existence that could cause such a vision could appear in the little Tianfeng kingdom. The 2 figures disappeared quickly. It didn't take long. A golden chariot appeared, and after stopping in front of the stone tablet, he also went to the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain. In less than half an hour, the Black Yuan Infinite Dharma and the Divine Elephant Mountain and River Power were completed. At this moment, in the desolate Dragon Cave, Chu Yuan was surprised by the speed of his cultivation. You know, it took him 593 to practice 2 heaven-level techniques to a small level before, and it took about a month. It is more than 10 times more difficult to achieve a complete skill than a small one. Based on his original qualifications, it would take at least close to a year to achieve it. However, now he can achieve it in less than half an hour. This qualification is extremely terrifying. Simply, just cultivate to perfection and forget it. Chu Yuan made up his mind. In less than an hour, the 2 heaven-level skills were immediately perfected. It seems that the heaven-level skills are no longer difficult for me. You have to practice the skills of saint level or above. Chu Yuan rummaged around in the space ring. Saint-level skills. Of course, he doesn't have them. However, after the Earth-level skills are enhanced 10,000 times, they should be Saint-level skills. Well, he does have Earth-level skills. The treasures given to him by those people at the stone tablet in the Baiduan mountain area, naturally, could not contain Earth-level skills. However, Si Qiushui also had them. Si Qiushui only had this Earth-level mid-level skill called Yimu Changchun Kung Fu, which suited her with spirit body and had great healing and life-extending effects. But for me, it's useless. Sikong has 3 Earth-level skills, 2 prefecture-level high-grade courses, and 1 prefecture-level mid-grade gate. Why don't you even have the best Earth-level products? Chu Yuan felt a little disgusted. After all, he is the Golden Body Realm Elder of Tianlong Temple. That's it. Since Tianlong Temple has the Immortal Realm, there must be heaven-level skills, right? You can't get the heaven-level skills. Why are you so stupid? Can't even get the top-grade ones? It's rubbish. Earth-level high-grade skills, after being enhanced 10,000 times, can at most obtain holy-level top-level skills. And my strength improves very quickly, and then I have to keep changing my techniques, which is really troublesome. It would be great if we could get heaven-level skills or holy-level skills and enhance them 10,000 times. Chu Yuan said softly. Speaking of which, what is the secret behind this Baiduan Mountain restricted area? Why is it a restricted area? Could it be that this place itself has the inheritance of a powerful person? Chu Yuan thought of some passages in novels. This kind of restricted area is either the place where the powerful bones are buried or the place of inheritance. Use your current spiritual consciousness to take a look and see if you can see something false or true. Chu Yuan's consciousness spread overwhelmingly. The next moment, his eyes condensed. Killing intent rose. When he was at the peak of the 3rd heaven of the Soul Palace realm, Chu Yuan's consciousness could spread for more than 100,000 miles. And now, he has broken through to the 1st level of immortality. How far can his consciousness spread? If he doesn't try it, he won't know it himself. Just when Chu Yuan's spiritual consciousness swept out overwhelmingly, he found that he still couldn't enter the 3 restricted areas, which shocked him slightly. What was in the 3 restricted areas? Why was the formation restriction so powerful? Although he was confused, he planned to explore it later. His consciousness spread to all places except the 3 restricted areas. 100,000 miles, 200,000 miles, 300,000 miles. However, before it spread to 400,000 miles, he stopped because he spotted 2 conspicuous figures. They were 2 monks, one thin and one fat, one old and one young. Wherever he passed, the sound of Sanskrit was loud. Isn't this exactly the same as the method used by Ci Kong of Tianlong Temple? Moreover, the cultivation of these 2 monks has reached the immortal state. What made Chu Yuan's murderous intention the most was that the 2 monks were discussing where he was, saying that they must find him quickly and kill him. I just killed a Sikong who is at the 2nd level of the Golden Body Realm. Unexpectedly, Tianlong Temple came so quickly and so cautiously, and he was in 2 immortal realms as soon as he arrived. However, wanting to kill me is simply wishful thinking. Chu Yuan was extremely indifferent, with a cold light in his eyes. Since you are here to kill him, then let's die here. Wild Dragon! Chu Yuan shouted. Owner, what are your orders? Desolate Dragon immediately appeared in front of him. Chu Yuan nodded and said slowly, Do you want to break through to the semi-saint realm now? Huang Long was stunned. It naturally wants to break through the semi-saint realm. But it is not even a 7th level monster now. It is even further away from becoming a semi-saint. At the very least, it will take about a few thousand years before it is possible to break through to the semi-saint realm. But what the owner asked it was, does it want to break through now? Could it be? Huanglong's eyes widened. Although he knew that his master would be terrifying in the future, his current strength was only in the immortal realm. Can the master help it break through to the semi-saint realm now? If the master himself breaks through to the semi-saint level, it will definitely feel normal. After all, that's the master. Of course. However, it knows very well what the desolate dragon is like. Compared with its owner, it is a waste among wastes. But now the master says this. It is very possible that it can really help it break through to the semi-saint realm. Is the master's immortal state so terrifying? This is really shocking. Although it was shocking, it felt inseparable. The owner will not tease it for no reason. Since the master asked this, of course he can do it. Master, it's too scary and too powerful. Think. Huanglong's big head kept nodding, and his big heart was beating hard. It made a dull sound. Chu Yuan nodded slightly and said, "Okay, then take out your demon pill." The wild dragon spit out the demon pill without hesitation, although it didn't know what its master was going to do. A fist-sized, golden demon pill flew in front of Chu Yuan. On top of the demon pill, there was a rich demon. It was full of energy, and it contained 2.5 levels of Gung Jin's artistic conception. Chu Yuan took a look and found that it could be enhanced 10,000 times. It has become the size of a watermelon. Not only that, the Gungold artistic conception in the demon elixir has directly changed from 2.5 layers to 1-layer Gungold rules. Go! Chu Yuan pushed the demon pill back. At this moment, Huanglong looked extremely shocked. What did it see? The owner just glanced at its demon pill, and the demon pill directly became a semi-saint level? Moreover, Gengjin's artistic conception, what kind of terrifying method is this? The master can really help it break through to the semi-saint realm. The demon pill was swallowed by it instinctively. The next moment, its cultivation level skyrocketed. Level 9. Wow! At this moment, the semi-holy dragon blood that it had been difficult to refine before was actively integrated into its body at this moment. In an instant, the integration is complete. Its physical body, energy, and blood have all been transformed. Groan. The wild dragon roared, and the dragon's roar spread throughout 100,000 miles. The dragon's power was so majestic that countless demonic beasts crawled to the ground in horror. At this moment, it turned into a pure-blood dragon, even if it was just an ordinary wild dragon. It was also a real the dragon seemed to have become the master of the monsters here. But the next moment, the wild dragon lowered its huge body and knelt down in front of Chu Yuan. Huanglong, thank you, master, for the gift. The improvement in strength has not allowed it to surpass even half of it. Its wild dragon is not an ungrateful dragon. Even if there is no restriction of the master-servant contract, it will not be detrimental to its master. What's more, even if it becomes a semi-saint, but when facing its master, it couldn't help but tremble with fear. It knew that although the master was only in the immortal realm, it wouldn't be too difficult to crush it to death. Good. Chu Yuan nodded with satisfaction. Although Huanglong is a semi-saint, the master-servant contract is still valid. Unless Huanglong becomes a true saint. However, even if the master-servant contract is useless, Chu Yuan has no worries about Huanglong. Betrayal. Although he is only in the immortal realm, he only has 1 level of spear intent, but at least the increase in his combat power will not be too weak. Squeezing the wild dragon to death is like squeezing an ant to death. Supreme physique is no joke. The master's great kindness will never be forgotten until death. The wild dragon is willing to go through fire and water for his master, even to the death. The wild dragon expressed its loyalty to Chu Yuan. It came from the heart. Very good. Chu Yuan nodded with satisfaction, and then said indifferently, 2 ants entered the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain and came to kill me. Do you know what to do? Boom. Shocking murderous intent and anger burst out from Huanglong's body. I want to kill my master. It's simply courting death. Who is it? I'm going to kill them now. 2 monks left Huanglong Cave and walked straight for more than 300,000 miles. Owner, I'll be back as soon as I go. Remember to bring back their space rings. The wild dragon turned into a golden light and disappeared directly. It's also good to have a thug, so you don't have to do everything yourself. Chu Yuan nodded with satisfaction. But this system is really strange. Why can't the wild dragon be enhanced 10,000 times, but it can enhance its blood essence and demon elixir cultivation, and even its artistic conception? Could it be that it cannot be integrated and can only be separated from the body? It seems that we need to investigate further. Chu Yuan murmured. Go to Huanglong and solve the two immortal realms. It shouldn't be a big deal. There must be heaven-level skills in the two immortal realm space rings. In this case, let's wait for them to come back first. As for finding treasures in this restricted area, it seems that relying on spiritual consciousness alone is not enough. If there is a treasure, it should be among the 3 real restricted areas. Let's understand the artistic conception of destruction first. Chu Yuan took out the 2 trump cards that could push him into the immortal realm. Before I can use this trump card, my strength is even stronger than the trump card. Chu Yuan shrugged helplessly. Although there is no need to use it against the enemy, it is still possible to understand the artistic conception and rules of destruction. After saying that, Chu Yuan began to understand. Ba. Damn it, in this forbidden area of Baidu Mountain, the spiritual consciousness can only cover less than 10,000 miles in radius. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilu Novel Network. The fat monk was very dissatisfied and said, if this continues, when will we be able to find Chu Yuan? Don't worry, although Chu Yuan has the rules to accompany him, his own cultivation is too weak. He is only in the realm of magical power. He should not enter the 3 real restricted areas. The thin monk became much calmer and said, moreover, the reason why he came to the Baiduan Mountain restricted area was probably to find his missing sister. Therefore, he should still be hanging around here. Keep looking. The 2 monks did not act separately. They were not far apart. It was also to guard against Chu Yuan. Although they did not believe in the rumors of the reincarnation of the ancient saints. But Chu Yuan had mastered the rules after all. Even if they were in the immortal realm, they would not dare to main idea. 300,000 miles. For the desolate dragon in the semi-saint realm, it does not take long. After a while, it flew over. Now, its consciousness spreads out. Now, with my semi-saint cultivation, my spiritual consciousness can only spread for 80 or 90,000 miles. When my master just broke through the soul palace realm, he could spread for more than 100,000 miles, which is even stronger than me now. Now that the master has become immortal, how strong is his divine consciousness? Every time he thinks of his master's power, Huanglong is filled with awe. Are these 2 monks in the immortal realm? Kill. The spiritual consciousness spread out, and soon he found the target. It immediately turned into a golden light and killed it. It was thousands of miles away, and it disappeared in an instant. But at this moment, it was 5 to 60,000 miles away. Both the fat monk and the thin monk felt it when they saw something. They all looked into the distance. Ba. What is that? It seems to be a semi-holy wild dragon. Half-saint. He didn't enter the 3 real restricted areas. Why are there half-saints? In an instant, the 2 of them were stunned. Damn, it looks like it's coming for us. The fat monk's face changed. Not necessarily, maybe just passing by. Keep a low profile, lower to the ground first, don't block its way. The thin monk suggested. They fell to the ground one after another, into a large virgin forest. The trees here were hundreds of meters high. Boom! The wild dragon spit out a mouthful of golden light and destroyed the virgin forest in an instant, leaving behind thousands of miles in diameter. Oh, the bottomless pit. Whoosh, whoosh, the 2 figures flew 30 to 40,000 miles away and glanced at the destroyed primeval forest with lingering fear. Ba. The fat monk cursed and said, is there something wrong with this wild dragon? We didn't mess with it. Is it so vicious when it comes up? Calm. The thin monk's face was solemn. At this time, the wild dragon was already approaching them. Mr. Huanglong, we were just passing by. I don't know what offended you. The thin monk asked solemnly. Passing by? Huanglong said indifferently, you guys want to kill my master, right? Die. The wild dragon will not be polite to them. He transformed into a dragon body and turned into a dragon. The divine dragon swung its tail. The dragon tail carrying a layer of Gongjin rules blew up the air surrounding tens of thousands of miles, sweeping towards the 2 monks of Tianlong Temple. The 2 monks were shocked. Golden bull. The thin monk sacrificed a golden bull. The next moment, the golden bull became the size of thousands of miles, shrouding him and the fat monk in it. The fat monk's immortal power also poured into the golden bowl. Together they controlled the golden bowl to resist. Boom! After a loud noise, the golden bowl was blown away. Puff! The two monks in the golden bowl vomited blood. The golden bowl is a semi-sacred soldier. It is precisely because of the semi-sacred soldier that the two of them are sure to kill Chu Yuan, who masters the rules of the gun. The semi-sacred soldier itself is there as a layer of rules. They believe that even if Chu Yuan masters the rules of the gun, it will only be at the level of magical power. Even if he breaks through, it will only be at the level of the Soul Palace. The two of them plus half-sacred weapons are enough to kill Chu Yuan. Because of this, Tianyang Temple sent the two of them here. However, before they could see Chu Yuan, they were intercepted by a terrifying wild dragon. Oh? Semi-sacred soldier. Is this what you rely on to dare to kill the master? It's simply a matter of life and death. Who gave you the courage? The wild dragon is extremely indifferent. Ba. Mr. Huanglong, are you mistaken? The one we want to kill is Chu Yuan, not your master. Is there a misunderstanding? The fat monk yelled. He didn't believe that Chu Yuan, who was in the supernatural power realm, could subdue the semi-holy Huanglong. Are the rules of gunmanship amazing? Huanglong also mastered the rules. How could he conquer the dragon with such a huge gap in cultivation? But Huanglong's words made them despair. Dare to call the master by his name. Even if the true saint comes, he will die here today. The killing intent of the wild dragon spreads, making people feel like they are falling into hell. What? Is Chu Yuan really his master? At this moment, both the fat monk and the thin monk were stunned. Even if they broke their heads, they couldn't figure out how Chu Yuan subdued the desolate dragon. Even if Chu Yuan became a semi-saint, he might not be able to subdue the semi-sacred desolate dragon. Monsters are very arrogant, and it is difficult for them to surrender to the powerful ones. What's more, how could Chu Yuan become a semi-saint? However, no one answered for them, Lise. The dragon's murderous intent is the best answer. Boom! The terrifying dragon power explodes across a radius of 100,000 miles. Let me see how long this turtle shell can protect you. The indifferent voice of the wild dragon sounded, and then it turned into an afterimage. The dragon's claws slapped the golden bowl hard, and sparks flew everywhere. The golden bowl also carried a layer of Gingjin artistic conception. But the two immortal realms could not use all your power. Puff puff. Every claw and every swing of the tail of the wild dragon can shock them in the golden bowl until they vomit blood. Fortunately, they are in the immortal realm, with tenacious vitality and can be reborn with a drop of blood. Otherwise, they are already dead. However, even if they I can't resist, I can't bear it for a few times. Use half of the Buddha's decree to drag him down. Let's retreat first. The thin monk said. If you stay here any longer, you will be dead, let alone kill Chu Yuan. The fat monk immediately threw out a decree, and the aura of the semi-saint burst out in an instant. Stopping in front of the wild dragon, they burned their essence and blood to control the dragon. Make the golden bowl escape quickly. Even the arrival of my true body cannot stop me, let alone the decree of the law. In just a few breaths, the so-called half-Buddha's decree was torn to pieces by the wild dragon. Chase him out. Your Majesty, semi-saint wild dragon. Driving a golden chariot out, Si Chiu Hung, the lord of Hongduan City, said in a trembling voice. The two monks at Tianyang Temple were really unlucky. They didn't find Chu Yuan, but instead provoked the semi-saint wild dragon. Si Danyang's sneering voice came from the golden cart. His Majesty. The latest news is that the person who killed Xiao Shui's sister has been found, and he is probably in a cave. My people didn't get close. They didn't alert the snake. Si Chiuhung glanced at the jade plaque and said, How far is it from here? Si Danyang's dull voice sounded. Less than 300,000 miles away. My people are responsible for communicating every 100,000 miles away. Get started. I want to kill him with my own hands. And the wild dragon cave, Chu Yuan was sitting cross-legged in the void, with a milky white jade talisman floating in front of his forehead. His eyes were tightly closed, his expression was happy, and his face was like white jade. Suddenly, He suddenly opened his eyes, and his spiritual consciousness swept out overwhelmingly. A group of Soul Palace Realm and Divine Power Realm. When their divine consciousness detected them before, they seemed to be looking for something. They were too weak and didn't care. Unexpectedly, they came in front of my cave. The golden chariot is coming here, and the menacing one is the one rushing into the wild dragon cave. However, is their target the wild dragon or me? Wait for me to take a look. Wearing an imperial robe, his aura is somewhat similar to Si Qiushui, so to speak. Chu Yuan understood. It seemed that he was here to avenge Si Qiushui. Chu Yuan didn't care, and even the slightest anger was gone. His mentality began to change. He closed his eyes and continued to comprehend the artistic conception of destruction. At this time, he was already surrounded by the artistic conception of destruction. It took him a long time to comprehend the rudimentary form of spear intent before, and it took him about 2.5 months to comprehend the 2.5 levels of spear intent. But now it had only been about a stick of incense since the departure of the wild dragon. The prototype of the artistic conception of destruction had already been comprehended by him. Not only that, but it would soon reach the half level. I have to say that his current qualifications are really incredible. See, Your Majesty. Thousands of miles outside the desolate dragon cave, the golden chariot stopped. One person at the 7th level of the Soul Palace Realm, 2 at the 5th level of the Soul Palace Realm, and more than a dozen supernatural power realms were all half kneeling on the ground. Get up. Si Danyang's voice came from the golden cart. Tell me about the situation. Thank you, Your Majesty. The old man at the 7th level of the Soul Palace Realm stood up and continued. We just used the secret method of the royal family to track the breath all the way, and finally caught up to the huge cave. The breath finally disappeared in the cave. The person who killed the 4th princess should be in it. Good. Then, the golden chariot drove towards the desolate dragon cave. In addition to Si Qiuheng and his few people, there were hundreds of people following behind the chariot. They were all in the Soul Palace Realm. Everyone was wearing black robes and wearing black masks. They were so mysterious that even Si Qiuheng didn't know who these people were. Soon, the golden chariot stopped in front of the Huanglong cave. Si Danyang stepped out of the chariot, clasped his hands and urged. Using the royal secret method, sure enough, he saw traces of light golden aura in his eyes, heading towards the cave. Regardless of whether you are a human or a monster, you must die today. Si Danyang's eyes flashed with murderous intent. 547. Then he said, Nephew, you are here. Show me the car. Yes, Your Majesty. Si Qiuheng replied, there are hundreds of Soul Palace Realm followers following him, not too many more than him, not too much less than him. Since he is asked to watch the car chase, then let's watch it. Come in with me. Si Danyang walked into the desolate dragon cave, followed by hundreds of Soul Palace realms. The desolate dragon cave is thousands of miles deep. In order not to scare the snake, Si Danyang did not release his spiritual consciousness to avoid being noticed by the other party and escape from other exits. After all, no one knows where this cave leads and whether there are any other exits. The distance of thousands of miles is quickly crossed, and there is a cave inside the cave, which is very huge, with crystal stones emitting a faint light. The handsome young man in white clothes is sitting cross-legged in the void. His eyes are closed tightly. The divine light is opening and closing, and he is meditating on the jade talisman floating on his forehead. At this moment, the young man's eyes are open, and the sun, moon, and stars are emerging in his eyes, gentle and elegant. Immortality. Si Danyang narrowed his eyes slightly. Then he used the royal secret method, but did not find Si Qiushui's aura on the young man. Si Danyang frowned, and the secret method traced it. The aura clearly came to this cave, and the only person in the cave was what's going on? Isn't this the person who killed Qiushui? If not, where's the person who killed Qiushui? He looked around and saw no one hiding. Other exits were strange. What he didn't know was that Chu Yuan's body was indeed contaminated with Si Qiushui's aura at the beginning. However, after Chu Yuan obtained the immortal body, Si Qiushui's aura had long been absorbed. Obliterated. What are you looking for? Looking for your daughter's murderer? A faint voice sounded, with a playful smile on the corner of Chu Yuan's mouth. You! Si Danyang's pupils shrank suddenly, and murderous intent emerged. It seems that Qiu Shui died in your hands. Yes, I originally rescued her, but she repaid my kindness with revenge and sent her on her way. Chu Yuan said calmly, as if he was telling an insignificant matter. In fact, it was indeed insignificant. Si Danong clenched his fists under the imperial robe. Who is your excellency? I will not kill unknown people. TSK, this is Chu Yuan. Chu Yuan glanced at Si Danong slightly curiously. I am very curious. Since you know that I am in the immortal realm, why do you dare to kill me when you are only at the 8th level of the golden body realm? What trump cards will you have to rely on? Are you Chu Yuan? How can it be? Si Danong narrowed his eyes slightly. He had heard the name Chu Yuan a lot recently. It was about mastering the rules of the gun. He was suspected to be the reincarnation of an ancient saint. Si Qiuheng also said before that he could not rule out the possibility that Chu Yuan killed Si Qiushui. I didn't expect him to be right. What shocked Si Danong was not that this young man was Chu Yuan, but that Chu Yuan's cultivation was at the immortal level. You know, I heard that he was only at the magical power level a few days ago. That's all. Originally, I only planned to avenge Qiu Shui. After all, I will not allow my own flesh and blood to die in vain, but I didn't expect that she would die in your hands. In a short time, you can achieve immortality. It seems that you really have incredible blessings. However, even if you are the reincarnation of an ancient saint, I will kill you today and take away your blessings. I have been practicing for more than 3,000 years, founded Ten-Thousandfold Kingdom, and provoked many immortals and even semi-saints. However, they all fell in my hands in the end. Today, you are no exception. Poor those 2 bald donkeys from Tianlong Temple. They originally came to kill you, but ended up provoking a wild dragon. Well, let you die in my hands. Si Danyang said coldly. It's hard to imagine that these words came from the mouth of a person in the golden body realm. Oh, it seems like you have a lot of support. Chu Yuan suddenly became a little interested. A person in the golden body realm actually killed the immortal realm and the semi-saint. How did he do it? My support. Killing you is enough. This time I wanted to avenge Qiu Shui. I thought I could rely on my own strength, but I didn't expect it would be you. Although I can only use my trump card for the last time, if I use it to kill you, I will gain your chance of creation, so it is worth it. My qualifications are not good, and I have practiced hard for 3,000 years, but I can't reach the golden body state. With your blessing, I may be able to take a step forward. Do you want to know how 2 immortals and a semi-saint fell into my hands in the past? Now let me show you. Go! Si Danyang shouted loudly, and the next moment, 10 formation flags flew out from behind him, landed in formation, and instantly expanded, covering Chu Yuan, so fast that people were caught off guard. Immediately afterwards, hundreds of Soul Palace realms, every 10 people appeared in front of a formation flag, took out low-grade holy crystals, and integrated them into the formation flag. And then cut their wrists to let the essence and blood flow into the formation flag. In an instant, the formation lines became brighter, and the formation was just right. The abyss is trapped in it. Incomplete low-grade holy-level formation? Moreover, it is a sinister way and needs to be fed with essence and blood. It can trap a semi-saint in a short time, but it is not enough to kill a semi-saint or even reach the immortal state. Do you have other sources of support? Chu Yuan said lightly. Good. Si Danang sneered and said, although this blood demon array is an incomplete low-grade holy level array, it is fed with human blood by me every day. I even enslave hundreds of people in the Soul Palace realm, often watering it with their essence and blood and intensifying it. The upper and lower grade holy crystals can trap the semi-saints when activated, but it is indeed not enough to kill the semi-saints and immortals, because the blood demon array is incomplete and no longer has the means to attack. Even if the immortal realm and the semi-saints are on guard, they can distance themselves from me before I activate the formation. However, the half-saint and the 2 immortal realms who died last time also underestimated the enemy like you. Take my golden body into consideration. So, they died. What I can really kill the semi-saint is this thing. Si Danyang may have thought that Chu Yuan was convinced, but he took out a jade bottle and explained in a hurry. This bottle, Beeb, contains the blood of the fallen saint and the demon, and the blood demon array, which I obtained in a ruins 1,000 years ago. The demonic blood of the fallen saint is said to be able to corrode the body of the saint and cause the true saint to fall. It is the most precious treasure of the devil. Although what I got is the diluted demonic blood of the fallen saint, it is more than enough to kill the half-saint. The blood of the fallen saint demon is different from the blood demon array. As long as the blood demon array is fed with blood essence and if you buy Xingjing, you can always use it. But there are only 3 drops of the fallen saint's demon blood, which can only be used 3 times. This is the last time. You are honored. Even if you are really the reincarnation of an ancient saint, you are still in the immortal realm now. Let's see how you resist the blood of the fallen saint. After saying that, Si Danyang approached the formation, opened the jade bottle, and then with lightning speed, buckled the jade bottle on the formation. A small hole was opened in the formation, and a stream of blood rushed out from the jade bottle. After being submerged in the formation, the small hole healed instantly. The next moment, the blood light turned into a foul-smelling blood-colored mist in the formation and rushed towards Chu Yuan. Once the fallen saint's demon blood leaves the special jade bottle, it cannot be conquered anymore. It is specially selected to track and corrode the breath of living people, corroding all vitality and longevity. After corrosion, it will take 3 days and 3 nights for the fallen saint's devil blood to completely dissipate. To read exciting novels, go to Feilu Novel Network. Give up resistance, it's useless. Your soul, body, and immortal power will all be corroded. Si Danyang was extremely indifferent. I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint you. Even a mere filthy thing wants to corrupt me. Chu Yuan's disdainful voice sounded. Humph, let's see how long you can keep your mouth shut. Si Danyang sneered. Chu Yuan disagreed. This fallen saint demon blood sounds scary, but in fact, it is just a burst of energy, and it is diluted. It cannot corrode true saints, but can only corrode semi-saints. Not very horrible. Who said it can't be conquered? If you can't conquer it, why not just imprison it? If a true saint can't be corroded, then how can a holy soldier be corroded? And Chu Yuan has a lot of them. Even without a holy weapon, he can refine it with his bare hands. His immortal body is so powerful, let alone the diluted fallen holy blood. It is even more terrifying. 100 times. It can't corrode his immortal body. However, refining it takes time, so he directly took out a large cauldron. The middle-grade holy weapon that was enhanced 10,000 times. All the mist poured into the cauldron and was unable to escape. This scene caused the so-called fallen saint demon blood to be suppressed in the cauldron. Si Danyang, who was outside the formation, was stunned on the spot, his body trembling slightly. The blood of the meteor saint demon is not as powerful as you think. In the formation, Chu Yuan said calmly. Why is the blood of the fallen saint and demon suppressed? Moreover, you are only in the immortal realm. Why do you have real holy weapons? Even if you are the reincarnation of an ancient saint, you cannot be reincarnated with the holy soldiers. And you have only just risen up, so you don't have time to go to many places. Why do you have holy soldiers? Si Danyang stared at Chu Yuan. He couldn't understand. The reason why he felt that Chu Yuan could eat him even if he was the reincarnation of an ancient saint. He was sure that the other party was really an ancient saint, and he had just recovered. Without the holy weapons, many powerful methods would definitely not be used. The blood of the fallen saint was enough to corrode the opponent. However, he found that he was completely wrong. Ancient saint? When did I say that I was reincarnated as an ancient saint? It's just someone else's guess. As for the holy soldiers, are they rare? As Chu Yuan's faint voice sounded. The next moment, behind him, bells and cauldron towers, swords, guns, swords, and other weapons appeared, and they were all holy weapons. Boom! Si Danyang knelt down on the ground limply. You are not the reincarnation of an ancient saint. So many holy soldiers. Who are you? Si Danyang knew that this time he was finished. He had kicked a real big iron plate. But the hundreds of Soul Palace realms did not react. They were just the walking corpses enslaved by Si Danang. Boom. However, at that moment, a terrifying aura rushed in from outside Huanglong Cave. Isn't this exactly the semi-holy wild dragon that hunted down the 2 monks of Tianlong Temple? For a moment, Si Danyang couldn't react. Why did this semi-holy wild dragon appear here? However, the next moment, he was dumbfounded on the spot. The desolate dragon is useless. It wasted time by killing 2 thieves and allowed these ants to disturb the master's repairs. Please punish him. The huge dragon body of the wild dragon knelt on the ground, kowtowing desperately. Dong dong dong. There were huge sounds in the wild dragon cave, and there were echoes. Each sound hit Si Danyang's heart hard. The wild dragon really blames itself. It feels that it is really useless. It was chasing those 2 monks just now. Even if the other party had the golden bowl, it could kill them quickly. However, who would have thought that those 2 monks were carrying it? He obtained numerous semi-Buddha decrees and frequently used them to stop him. Not only that, he even had the flying boat treasure escape directly from the Baiduan Mountain restricted area. It even chased him out of the Hongduan Mountains and chased him all the way before catching up with him. Kill them. Then it returned quickly. It was in a happy mood after helping its master solve the problem. However, as soon as it returned to the Huanglong Cave, it found the golden chariot pulled by 5 dragons, and it suddenly felt bad, and listening to the conversation of those people, it became even more angry. These ants did not know whether to live or die, and dared to kill the master. The wild dragon was furious and tore Si Chiohung and the others alive, and the 5 dragons and the golden chariot were also driven away. He tore it to pieces. As soon as the wild dragon entered the cave, he knelt on the ground to apologize. It felt that it was too useless. The master had just promoted it to a semi-saint cultivation level, but it was so procrastinated in doing things for the first time, which must have disappointed the master. It sincerely apologizes, rather than being afraid of its owner. It really feels guilty. The semi-holy wild dragon who was chasing Tianlong Temple actually called you master? Si Danang screamed. At this moment, he really collapsed. He was just a little 8th-level golden body. He mainly relied on the incomplete low-grade holy formation and the blood of the fallen saint and demon. However, the fallen saint and demon the blood had been suppressed by Chu Yuan. He was already quite desperate, but now he saw Huang Long running out to call his master. He completely collapsed. It turned out that the 2 monks of Tianlong Temple were not unlucky. It was Huang Long who reached the semi-saint level and took the initiative to kill them. There was no doubt that this was Chu Yuan's order. Moreover, it seemed that the 2 monks from Tianlong Temple were dead. The terrifying immortal power exploded from Chu Yuan's body. The power of the eternal immortal body was even more terrifying than that of a semi-saint. Suddenly, the incomplete holy level formation exploded. This formation cannot trap him at all. Poof. 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 Hundreds of enslaved Soul Palace realms also turned into blood mist in an instant. Just kill him. Chu Yuan's faint voice sounded. Yes, master. Huanglong naturally understood what Chu Yuan meant. He stretched out his claws and beat the collapsed Si Danang into a bloody mist. Tell me what happened. Chu Yuan said calmly. Yes, master. Next, Huanglong narrated the whole process of hunting down the 2 monks of Tianlong Temple, and finally said, Master, please punish me. There is no need for punishment. This matter is not your fault. Give me their space ring. I will take a look at the flying boat. Chu Yuan chuckled. Huanglong quickly gave the space rings to Chu Yuan. There were 2 monks, as well as the lord of Hongduan City Si Chioheng and his subordinates. Of course, there were also Si Danyangs. Take this and practice. Only when your strength becomes stronger can you serve me better. Chu Yuan threw out a semi-holy demon pill. Thank you, master. Huanglong is extremely grateful. Not only did his master not punish him, but he also gave him benefits. He was really kind to him. He must refine this demon pill quickly and improve his strength. The next time he helps his master solve something, he must not do it again. That's it. The top-grade heaven-level exercises, Glazed Golden Body and Mighty Heavenly Dragon, the top-grade heaven-level exercises, Happy Zen Technique, the two immortal realm monks from Tianlong Temple, really did not disappoint me. Chu Yuan first looked at the skills and was very satisfied. The two immortal monks in Tianlong Temple have reached the peak of the immortal death realm. They are only one step away from the semi-saint. Of course, this step is the natural chasm. Without understanding the rules, they cannot take this step. Glazed Golden Body and Mighty Heavenly Dragon are all serious techniques, but they can be enhanced 10,000 times and then practiced. As for the Happy Zen Technique, forget it. After all, gathering yin and replenishing yang can drain women. Such evil techniques are harmful. Tianhe. There are quite a lot of other things, including martial arts, 8th and 9th grade elixirs, divine weapons and Taoist weapons, and low-grade holy crystals. A small fortune has come. Chu Yuan looked at Si Danyang's space ring again. I looked down upon a low-level heaven-level martial art, but this martial art, Swanee Divine Fist, turned out to be the best in heaven level. Good guy, those two monks in Tianlong Temple don't have the best martial arts at the heaven level. I didn't expect that the little second-level Golden Body realm actually has it. Moreover, his low-grade holy crystals actually cost over 1,000 pieces, which was more than the two monks of Tianlong Temple. Although the other precious medicines and elixirs are only in the 6th or 7th grade, there are quite a lot of them. He is worthy of being the emperor of a country, even though it is just a small Tianfeng kingdom. But there are indeed many treasures. Of course, he should have obtained the low-grade Holy Crystal and Swanee Divine Fist from the so-called ruins. I used to have good luck. Next, Si Chiohung and the others also made small gains with their space rings. Next, it was time for him to perform a 10,000 times enhancement. Soon, under his operation, the 10,000 times enhancement was successful. Glazed Golden Body, successfully enhanced 10,000 times, the best of the Great Saint level, can be renamed yes/no. Mighty Heavenly Dragon, successfully enhanced 10,000 times, the best of the Great Saint level, can be renamed yes/no name. Swanee Divine Fist, successfully enhanced 10,000 times, the best of the Great Sage level, can be renamed yes/no name. After the Saint level, there is the Great Saint level. After the heaven-level skills and martial arts are enhanced 10,000 times, they directly cross the Saint level and obtain the Great Saint level. This is normal. After all, the base of heaven-level skills is quite large. After being enhanced 10,000 times, it will naturally not be too weak. Chu Yuan didn't bother to rename it, so he just left it like that. After that, he also strengthened the precious medicine and elixir 10,000 times. After the 6th grade 10,000-fold enhancement, there is the semi-holy level, and after the 7th grade 10,000-fold enhancement, it is the low-grade holy level. After the 8th grade 10,000-fold enhancement, it is the middle-grade holy level, and after the 9th grade, the 10,000-fold enhancement is the upper-grade holy level. Of course, it can also be called a saint-level saint, they are all the same. After the low-grade Saint Crystal was enhanced 10,000 times by him, he obtained the high-grade Saint Crystal. Naturally, there are many divine weapons. After being strengthened 10,000 times, they all turned into holy weapons. And after the Taoist soldiers were enhanced 10,000 times by him, they turned into great holy soldiers. They don't have Taoist-level guns, only the best-grade divine weapons. After being enhanced 10,000 times, they turn into the best holy weapons. Although my current cultivation level is only in the immortal realm, with the help of the eternal immortal body, I am more than enough to control the best holy weapons. It's a pity that there is no powerful marksmanship. None of them use guns. I'm lucky to have a top-notch magic weapon. Forget it. After leaving the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain, go find a powerful marksmanship. It's not that Chu Yuan is obsessed with guns and does not use other holy weapons. The main thing is that he currently understands only the rules of the gun, and he can use them smoothly. And it is not that he does not use other holy weapons. After all, who it is stipulated that only one treasure can be used during combat. It depends on the situation. He is not rigid. And, It's not just the great holy soldier. The half-saint level golden bull, after being strengthened 10,000 times, directly turned into a half-step holy king's soldier. Moreover, the layer of gung gold rules contained in it has also been enhanced 10,000 times to become the perfect gung gold rules. It's helpful for me to understand. Chu Yuan thought for a moment. My current strength is already very strong. You can also take a look at the 3 restricted areas. Gu Qingxue. It's time to find a cheap girl. As for cultivation, you don't have to be in seclusion blindly. You can also practice while walking. What's more, I am extremely talented. Thinking of this, Chu Yuan shouted, "Desolate dragon. Owner." The next moment, Huanglong appeared directly in front of him. Are you off limits to the ice? Do you have any understanding? Chu Yuan asked. Huanglong shook his head and said, Master, although Huanglong Cave is very close to the 3 restricted areas, I have never been to the real 3 restricted areas. My clan brother, the 7th level Desolate Dragon, once set foot in the Earth Fire Forbidden Zone before, but it came out half dead after a while. It said that there was a big terror in the restricted zone. No details were given. As for the ice restricted area, I don't know much about it. On the other hand, the monsters in the forbidden area rarely come out, and it is normal for them not to come out even for hundreds of years. Master, are you going to the restricted area of ice? Uh-huh. Chu Yuan nodded. Go, let's set off now. After saying that, Chu Yuan flew to the head of the Desolate Dragon. The next moment, the Desolate Dragon turned into golden light and disappeared. In the blink of an eye, he arrived at the entrance of the 3 restricted areas. This is the deepest part of the Baiduan Mountain restricted area, and there is no place in front of it. There are only 3 light gates on the road, the green one, the golden one, and the crystal color one. The green one has the word Poison Mist written on it with dragons and phoenixes flying on it. The golden one has the word Earth Fire written on it. The crystal color one has the word Earth Fire written on it. The word Ice. This handwriting, the rules of gunmanship. Chu Yuan's eyes narrowed, and he felt a faint sense of the rules of gunmanship in it, but the level was very high, at least 4 or 5 levels. The stone tablet outside the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain has the meaning of gun. There are rules of gun art here. Could it be related to the master of gun art? Moreover, this strong man was from 10,000 years ago. 10,000 years ago, it was far away even if it was said to be far away, and it was not far away even if it was not said to be far away. After all, one would have lived 10,000 years in the immortal realm. Go in, Chu Yuan ordered. Go and see the so-called restricted area first. As for the rules of the gun, it's not too late to come back and learn about it later. The wild dragon carried Chu Yuan on his back and disappeared into the light gate of the ice-restricted area. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilu Novel Network. Outside Tianfeng, hundreds of millions of miles away, in the sky, suspended sacred mountains are linked together by thick chains, forming a double-winged celestial dragon. Look, on every sacred mountain, there are temples enshrining golden Buddhas. At this moment, a large group of monks gathered in the largest temple. Amitabha, what happened? Why did you suddenly summon all the golden-bodied elders and the immortal lord? I don't know. This is the will of the second half-Buddha. I heard that the fat and thin sages died. What? Fat and thin venerable has fallen? Aren't they at the peak of the immortal realm and death realm? Who can kill them? Half-saint. Is there a semi-saint who is against me, Tianlong Temple? Where is the half-saint from? From the Feather Dynasty? Or something else? Many golden-bodied elders and immortal venerables began to discuss. Amitabha, be silent. The second half of the Buddha arrived. Suddenly, the scene became quiet. The fat second half Buddha sat on the highest lotus throne and said, Amitabha, without further ado, Sikong died a few days ago. I asked the 2 venerable fatty and thin men to go and avenge Sikong. However, fatty and thin soul lamp has been extinguished and they are dead. I am calling you all today. Want to get rid of the evil. Amitabha, I dare to ask the half-Buddha, where is the root of the disaster? Feather Dynasty or something else? Asked by someone in the immortal realm. It's not the Yuhua Dynasty, nor any other force, but a favored son of heaven who is suspected to be the reincarnation of an ancient saint, named Chu Yuan. Of course, it may just be the strong man who takes over. Ran. The second half-Buddha paused and continued. No matter what, Sikong died in the hands of the opponent, and the two Venerable Fatty and Thin also died. Although Venerable Fatty and Thin had just extinguished their soul lamps and did not know why they died, it was probably inseparable from the other party. The reason why Tianlong Temple can survive in this world forever is by doing things cleanly and eradicating the roots. The deaths of Sikong and Fatty have already brought each other to the opposite side of Tianlong Temple. The root of the evil must be eradicated. Bao Tianlong Temple is peaceful. Half-Buddha. Since the other party can kill the fat and thin sages, I'm afraid he's not weak at all. Someone said. The second half-Buddha nodded and said, You are indeed not weak. The fat and thin venerables come here to ask for my instructions before setting off. I gave them the most precious golden bowl. However, they still fell. As soon as these words came out, the expressions of all the immortal lords and golden elders suddenly changed. What? Did the fat and thin sages carry the most precious golden bowl and fall? That's a semi-sacred soldier. Is Chu Yuan really so terrifying? Is the other party a semi-saint? They were all very dignified. No one knows what kind of cultivation Chu Yuan is now, so he gathered everyone together and set out to kill the opponent. Otherwise, Tianlong Temple will be in endless trouble. First, get rid of the root of the disaster. Second, get back the most precious golden bowl. And third, get the opponent's good fortune. The second half-Buddha said in a deep voice. Are you sure you can kill the opponent? Asked an immortal venerable. The second half-Buddha nodded and said, Of course there is. This time, we, Tianlong Temple, came out in full force, and the third half-Buddha also. Invited one from Lane Holy Land. The true descendant of the great Buddha. The great Buddha, that is an existence that surpasses the true Buddha. The true descendant of the great Buddha. Amitabha, great. In this way, the opponent will definitely be killed. God bless Tenryoji Temple. Great kindness. It's snowing heavily and extremely cold. There are as many 6th and 7th level monsters as dogs, and there are also many 8th and 9th level monsters. Is this the restricted area of ice? Chu Yuan murmured to himself on Huanglong's head. This ice-restricted area is really terrifying. If I hadn't become a half-saint, I wouldn't have the confidence to enter. Huanglong thought in his heart. It had been half an hour since they came in. They encountered many monsters along the way, but they were all too frightened by Huanglong's power to dare to take action. The body of the desolate dragon couldn't help but tremble, and was secretly surprised in his heart. The master has just come in for a short time, and has already understood the rudimentary form of the ice concept? Master, this is too scary. It is true that the Huanglong is a waste. It took hundreds of years to comprehend the prototype of the Gingjin artistic conception. In fact, the Huanglong underestimated Chu Yuan. Chu Yuan did not just comprehend the ice artistic conception. Chu Yuan is so simple. He has also mastered 2 top-notch great saint-level skills and martial arts to the point of multitasking. Chu Yuan had an idea and started to check the attribute panel. Host, Chu Yuan. Physique, eternal immortality. Qualification. Cultivation, level 1 immortal realm. Kung Fu, glazed golden body, the ultimate great saint level. Entry level, divine mighty heavenly dragon, the top level great saint level entry level. Martial arts, Swani divine fist, excellent great sage level, beginner. Avenue, 1 level of gunmanship rules, half level of artistic conception of destruction, and the prototype of the artistic conception of ice. The artistic conception you understand now will be enhanced 10,000 times when you understand it to the level of rules. Chu Yuan thought. Then she closed the attribute panel. Looking at the vast white sky and earth, she said softly, Will Gu Qingxue be here? At that time, she was only in the divine elixir realm. In less than a year, no matter how defiant she was, she would never be able to defeat an 8th or 9th level monster. She's not dead, and she's not in the periphery, so she can only be in these 3 forbidden areas. The snow lotus sacred flower that Jiahao mentioned last time seems to be only found in the ice forbidden area. Forget it, go a little further and find a stronger monster to ask. Chu Yuan decided. Stop. The ice-restricted area. Outsiders are not welcome. Retreat quickly. A group of 8th and 9th level monsters stood in front of Chu Yuan and the others. They were a group of giant ice and snow dragons. They spoke human words and warned Chu Yuan and the others. I have forgotten which batch this is. Why are there so many high-level monsters? The wild dragon is numb. The question is, don't these high-level monsters have brains? Can't they feel its power? Get out of the way or die. The indifferent voice of the desolate dragon sounded, and the next moment, all those high-level monsters dispersed. They dared to come out when they were warned, but they were really timid when they were scared. If you really obey these ice and snow dragons, you can't be like it. Do dragons generally have backbone? If you are strong, you will be warned. If you are weak, you will be torn apart by them. Chu Yuan's calm voice sounded. Huang Long nodded. What the master said makes sense. Half a year ago, had you ever seen a human woman set foot here? Chu Yuan asked. The scattered ice and snow dragon said coldly, no, human being, I advise you to leave as soon as possible. Human woman? Huang Long was stunned. This was the first time that the master asked. It turned out that the master came to the ice-restricted area to look for someone. But is the human woman the master's Taoist companion? Or the mother? Or maybe it is the human woman. Don't think about it, she's my sister. Chu Yuan's faint voice sounded. Well, Huang Long's thoughts were seen through, and he was quite embarrassed. By the way, about half a year ago, have you seen human women entering the 3 restricted areas? Chu Yuan asked Huang Long. He had neglected to reconcile before. Huang Long Cave is so close to the 3 restricted areas. Maybe he has seen it before. Not seen. Huang Long shook its big head. Huang Long has never seen it before, which is normal. Moreover, is Gu Qingxue really in the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain? At first, she just said 757, but she came to Baidu Mountain. It is not ruled out that she went missing in the Duanshan Forbidden Zone and then disappeared. In fact, she did not come to the Baiduan Mountain Forbidden Zone. Or, after coming to the Baiduan Mountain Forbidden Zone, she left for another place and for some reason, there was no news at all. This is possible. That's all, let's look for this restricted area of ice first. Anyway, it's important to practice and find people. Chu Yuan began to sink his spiritual consciousness into the space ring. The Semi-Saint King's Golden Bowl and the perfect Gingjin rules were the goals he wanted to understand. Standing at the height of the first-level gun rules, it is easier to understand the artistic conception of other rules. After a while, the prototype of Gingjin's artistic conception emerged. This, the prototype of Gung Jin's artistic conception? Huang Long was stupid again. If he remembered correctly, the master just understood the rudiment of the ice concept just now. It was only a while ago. The master was too scary. Huang Long became more and more in awe of Chu Yuan's attitude. Sure enough, the master is destined to suppress an era. Who can compare with this talent? At the same time, in the ice palace deep in the ice-restricted area, the huge half-saint ice and snow dragon spoke. Some tribesmen reported that there are people who have come to the restricted area and cannot be driven away. They are rushing towards the depths of the restricted area. The rough voice of the semi-saint ice bear sounded. Directly, wouldn't it be enough to destroy it? How can it be so easy to destroy? The 9 tails of the half-saint snow fox were raised, and a beautiful voice came out from its cherry-red lips. My clansman just now also summoned me. He is an immortal realm human race riding a semi-saint desolate dragon. Immortal realm human race rides semi-holy wild dragon? Semi-saint snow scorpion said disdainfully. Desolate dragon is also a branch of the dragon clan after all. Although it is a mixed-blood dragon clan, it should be a little arrogant at least. Unexpectedly, he was willing to condescend to a human race that was weaker than himself. It seemed that his pride had been wiped out. Half-Saint Snow Wolf's eyes flashed with a faint light. Don't talk about these useless things. Since we can't expel them, we have to do it. Now that the human elixir has reached a critical stage, we can't make any mistakes, otherwise the Lord will blame us. No one can afford it. After a pause, he continued, the opponent is riding a semi-holy wild dragon. I'm afraid he's not very weak. No matter how bad he is, he should have a lot of life-saving things. So, at least 3 of us can go together. Who wants to go? After hearing the words of the semi-saint Snow Wolf, they all became serious, especially when they heard the master. I am one of them. I haven't seen the human race for a long time, and the tribesman who summoned me said that he is a handsome man. The half-saint Snow Fox said with a charming smile, I really want to play him to death. The other semi-holy monsters ignored her. I am one of them. I just want to teach that semi-holy wild dragon a lesson and tell him that even the mixed-blood dragon clan should not lose the pride of the dragon clan. The semi-saint Ice and Snow Dragon said coldly, I will go too. I count myself as one. 2 voices sounded. It was the half-saint Ice Bear and the semi-saint Snow Scorpion. The 2 of them looked at each other, as if they were about to fight. Let me go. No, let me go. The 2 started arguing. Etc. The ice dragon's voice rang out. Just now, the tribe sent another message saying that the human riding the wild dragon was inquiring about the human woman, and he also said that the time was half a year ago. As soon as these words came out, the other 4 demonic beasts and half-saints were all stunned. They all looked into the ice pill furnace and said in unison, human pill. Unexpectedly, I came here to find this person's elixir. The half-saint Snow Wolf said solemnly, then he deserves to die even more. That's all. All 4 of you go. Here, I just need to keep watch. The other party must be killed. Boom. However, at this time, a sudden change occurred. In the ice palace, on the 100-foot ice throne, among the ice sculptures that looked like humans but not humans, the orchid's divine light flickered. Seeing this, the 5 half-saint demons beasts, all kneeling on the ground, extremely pious. Meet the master. Well, get up. I know everything you said. Let's all go, Snow Wolf, go too. The sound of vicissitudes of life came from the ice sculpture that looked human but not human. Even this voice seemed human but not human. Master, don't you need the guardian pill? After going out and coming back, the human elixir will probably break out into strong resistance again. By then, it will take another month or 2 to refine it. Half-saint Snow Wolf's face couldn't help but change, and he asked in a trembling voice, Don't worry about the human elixir. The reason why I let you all go is because I sense that the human race's physique is also very strong. Although I am restricted and cannot sense how strong it is, the physique will not be worse than the human elixir. The human elixir's physique is most useful to me, but if you add a physique that is not weaker than the human elixir, the human elixir's grade will be even higher. When the time comes, I will give you a big reward. A human-like but inhuman voice sounded. Thank you, Master. When they heard about the big prize, the 5 half-saint monsters were very excited. Yeah, let's go. Remember, that human race needs to live. Then, Orchid's divine light disappeared, and the statue, which looked human but not human, returned to its normal appearance. Walk. The next moment, the 5 half-saint monsters left directly. After a while, a confused whisper sounded in the ice furnace. No, we can't die like this. Hold on. Guqing Xuet, if you die, what will Brother Yuan do? Extremely weak, a voice as thin as a mosquito came out. Master, there seem to be only snow wolves, snow foxes, ice scorpions, bears, and snow dragons in this ice-restricted area, and nothing else. Huang Long said. It's true, and it shouldn't be very big here. Chu Yuan replied, It's a pity that in this ice-restricted area, it is impossible to release spiritual consciousness. Otherwise, with my spiritual consciousness, I can figure out this place very quickly. Yes, in the restricted area of ice, one cannot release spiritual consciousness. 1 dragon and 1 person, traveling through the ice and snow. If you encounter a monster occasionally, just ask, as long as the monster does not take the initiative. Chu Yuan did not kill them all. After all, he is not here to kill monsters. Chu Yuan is multitasking, comprehending multiple artistic conceptions and martial arts at the same time, and can also focus on the outside world after an hour, the artistic conception of Gungjin, and the artistic conception of ice. They have all broken through to the first level. As for the rules of the gun, it is a little slower. Before, it took him day and night to understand the rules of the gun. Now he multitasks and only needs one artistic conception. It's just an hour. Your cultivation level is too low now. When your cultivation level becomes stronger in the future, you can create your own cultivation method and refine your own weapons. Chu Yuan murmured. He just had this plan. If he really wants to carry it out, he must at least break through to the Holy Realm. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilu Novel Network. However, the Holy Realm is not very far away. Owner. Several powerful auras are coming from a distance. Huanglong became solemn. Every aura was no weaker than him. Chu Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly. Huanglong could have noticed it. How come he didn't notice it? He discovered it much earlier than Huanglong, but he just didn't say anything. What a handsome young man from the human race. Let's play with my sister. Suddenly, a sweet laugh came. The next moment, a huge, half-human, half-demon nine-tailed snow fox appeared not far from them, looking at Chu Yuan with aggressive eyes. What appeared next was there are snow wolves, snow scorpions, ice bears, and ice and snow dragons, all of the same color, with half-saint cultivation. Presumptuous. Groan. Huanglong roared, Long Jingtian. Turns out to be a pureblood dragon? How could the wild dragon be pureblood? Shui Lang said a little surprised. Is he the only one worthy of being a pure-blooded dragon? Snort. The ice and snow dragon said disdainfully, being a mount for the human race is simply an embarrassment to the dragon clan. Hand him over to me later, and I will kill him myself. Without further ado, come right on in. The ice bear roared angrily. It's not a monkey. Why is the monkey anxious? Shui Scorpion said coldly, can they still run away? Play slowly. Play slowly? Don't forget the master's instructions. The ice bear snorted. As for Chu Yuan, after seeing the 5 semi-sacred monsters, he chuckled and said, it's really not easy to find my sister. Oh, hee, looking for my sister? Human youth, are you looking for a human woman with a cold body? Shui Fox covered his mouth and smiled. Chu Yuan narrowed his eyes. Finally, there is news. It seems that Guqing Xue is really in the ice-restricted area. Apparently, that's it, she is your sister. Snow Fox said charmingly, want to know where she is? Come, follow your sister, she will take you to find your sister. I am not interested in the sexy fox, tell me where she is, otherwise, I will die. Chu Yuan said indifferently. The other party is not kind, and he is not blind. In this case, there is no nay. D to be polite. Oh, so fierce. People are so scared. Snow Fox looked very scared. Huanglong was about to get angry, but was interrupted by Chu Yuan's tap. The slutty fox talks a lot of nonsense. I'm here first. The wild dragon belongs to me. No one can compete with me. The giant ice and snow dragon rushed forward. Go ahead, he wants you to be your opponent. Chu Yuan said to Huanglong and then flew into the air. Master beware. The wild dragon said, and then killed the giant ice and snow dragon. He served as a mount for the human race. Saying that he brought shame to the dragon clan? Haha, what does a short-sighted thing know? How can he know the greatness of his master? The wild dragon wants the giant ice and snow dragon to know, you're the scumbag. 2 giant dragons are fighting together in the distance. Oh, my handsome young brother from the human race, without the semi-holy mount, you are in the first level of the immortal realm. Are you panicking? Don't be afraid, sister will be gentle and won't hurt you. While the snow fox was teasing, he suddenly disappeared on the spot and grabbed Chu Yuan with his claws. The other 3 semi-holy beasts had no intention of taking action for the time being. The ice and snow dragon said that they wanted to challenge each other. And the snow fox was dealing with the first level of the immortal realm. It seemed that they were not needed. Whoosh! Chu Yuan disappeared on the spot, leaving the snow fox in the air. It's pretty fast. Snow Fox said in his mouth and came towards Chu Yuan again. 10,000 dragons kill. 1.5-inch Chu Yuan struck with his fingers together, and Huanglong passed by, but it directly penetrated the snow fox. Chu Yuan narrowed his eyes slightly and disappeared from the place. The next moment, a pair of fox claws appeared where he was just now. The rules of fantasy? Moreover, it has 2 floors. Chu Yuan understood instantly. It turns out to be a layer of gunmanship rules, and the perception is so sharp. The immortal realm is so amazing. Snow Fox was quite surprised, but next, let's see if you can see through it. The Snow Fox suddenly transformed into hundreds of them, each of them lifelike, but this was not a clone technique, but an illusion technique. Hundreds of snow foxes came towards Chu Yuan to kill. Chu Yuan did not panic at all, and under the perception of the powerful soul, the real snow fox has no way to escape. Although the divine consciousness cannot be released, the instinctive perception of the soul still exists. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Chu Yuan ducked many times, and each time he just happened to snatch the snow fox's attack. You slutty fox, you are so useless. You can't even defeat an immortal realm in a long time. Snow Scorpion's mocking voice came. Shut up. Shui Fox turned around and scolded angrily, then smiled at Chu Yuan and said, Little brother, just hiding is pointless. Master said, Don't you have a strong physique? Come, let my sister see it. Master? Chu Yuan noticed this word. It seems that there are other existences behind Snow Fox, or these semi-holy monsters. Can he be a true saint if he can control 5 semi-holy monsters? In other words, as often said saint? And he actually knows that he has a strong physique? It seems that the other party is really not simple. However, he is not afraid. Want to see my physique? As you wish. Chu Yuan's indifferent voice sounded, and the next moment his figure disappeared directly. Where did it go? Snow Fox didn't expect that the other party agreed so quickly and disappeared directly. Even she couldn't notice it. At this moment, she felt an unprecedented danger. The instinctive prediction of her body, and even the trembling premonition of her soul, the crisis of death. When it came, she wanted to escape, but she could only stare wide-eyed and couldn't move. Boom! A terrifying momentum acted on her body. In an instant, Snow Fox's body fell directly from the sky and hit the ground, covering the ground with ice and snow. Flying. A huge foot trampled her huge body. Naturally, it couldn't be Chu Yuan's foot, but the foot of Chu Yuan's true self. It has always existed. At this moment, Chu Yuan stood in the sky, with the slightly illusory self standing upright behind him. Snow Fox was trampled under his feet, unable to move like an ant. How could he look so terrifying? Full of shock, that huge foot stepped on her body, as if the heavens were suppressing her for eternity. She couldn't figure out why the other party was so terrifying because of his physical strength. How? Are you satisfied? Chu Yuan's indifferent voice sounded, very plain, but high up, overlooking all living beings. Snow Fox wanted to speak, but couldn't. Sexy Fox. This human race is so terrifying. Everything happened so fast, almost instantly, that the other semi-holy monsters did not react. By the time they reacted, the Snow Fox had already been stepped on. Go together. Ice Scorpion said solemnly. The strength of the two of them is evenly matched. Snow Fox can't get any benefits, so they have to go together. Ouch! Kill! Xueling yelled and rushed towards Chu Yuan. Although the master wants to live, they can take this human youth back 14 and a half dead. Roar! The ice bear also roared angrily. Snort! A soft hum rang out. Chu Yuan's self-image was lightly stepped on. The next moment, Snow Fox felt that the heavens had collapsed. In an instant, her demonic elixir was shattered, her flesh and blood bones were shattered, and her soul was shattered and completely destroyed. Until the moment of his death, Snow Fox regretted it deeply. He was so mean. Why did he want to see other people's physiques? The power of the tip of the iceberg, but she was so desperate that she had to pay the price with her life. At this time, the ice scorpion's crystal poisonous hook had struck from Chu Yuan's back, and the snow wolf's claws had struck from Chu Yuan's side. The two pairs of ice bear's paws merged into one, and they pressed heavily on the ground, click-click. The ice and snow ground cracked, and huge ice spikes shot straight into the sky. The target was Chu Yuan, and even blocked everything in Chu Yuan's body. Way out. Ants shake the sky. Chu Yuan stood with his hands behind his back, incomparably indifferent, high above, overlooking all living things, like the master of all things. I, Dharma, grabbed the ice scorpion's crystal poisonous hook with one hand and grabbed the snow wolf's neck with the other hand. Stomping slightly, all the ice thorns exploded. Dong dong dong. I picked up the ice scorpion and smashed it hard on the ground. Even if the ice scorpion was a semi-saint, it was smashed to pieces by the power of the ego. Dizzy, bottomless ravines appeared on the ice and snow. Snow Wolf couldn't use any strength and couldn't move. The most terrifying thing was that his eyes were about to pop out. Seemed to have disappeared. He seemed to have turned into an ordinary snow wolf. When his neck was pinched, he would feel suffocated, his head would be deprived of oxygen, and he would faint. Thump thump thump. This scene made the ice bear retreat continuously, with shock and disbelief on his face. Even the giant ice dragon and the wild dragon, who were fighting fiercely in the distance, stopped. How could that be possible for a human race at the first level of the immortal realm? Snow Fox is dead? Ice Scorpion and Snow Wolf were also captured. The giant ice and snow dragon's body trembled. While he was dazed, Huanglong directly struck the dragon with its tail and slapped it on the head of the giant ice and snow dragon. Unprepared, the giant ice and snow dragon's head was split in half and scattered. A large amount of dragon blood, like a kite with a broken string, fell hard on the ice and snow. The wild dragon looked down at him from high above. Are you saying that I am not worthy of being a dragon? Are you saying that I don't have any arrogance? Huh? The frog at the bottom of the well, the ant who has no vision, the mouse who is short-sighted. See it? What a majestic being the master is. At the first level of the immortal realm, killing you is like crushing ants. Master, he is destined to suppress an era and be an invincible existence in the world. Is it embarrassing to follow such a master? Stupid ice dragon. Huanglong was full of pride. The ice and snow dragon's head healed slowly. He did not refute Huanglong. He could not recover for a long time. Withdraw. The ice bear's voice rang in his ears. The ice bear, who always loved being brainless, chose to run away without a fight. The ice and snow dragon also realized that it had no choice but to run away. Escape. Want to escape? Huanglong grabbed the ice and snow dragon's tail and threw him to the ground. Originally, their strength was almost evenly matched, but the ice and snow dragon wanted to escape, but Huanglong once again caught the opportunity. And on the other side, Chu Yuan's true self stepped out in one step, crossed a long distance, and came to the top of the ice bear's head. Human race, don't kill me. The ice bear was extremely horrified. Boom. The ice bear was trampled on the soles of its feet, just like the snow fox just now. Look at what a bear you are. Chu Yuan sneered and stamped his feet. The ice bear was wiped out. With a shake of his hands, the ice scorpion and snow wolf were also wiped out. They were just minions. Chu Yuan was interested in how Guqing Xue is doing now and how they are. The so-called master. I waved my hand and caught the ice dragon in my hand. Say, where's my sister? Chu Yuan stared at the ice and snow dragon. In the ice palace, I am going to be made into a human elixir. The ice and snow dragon knew that he would definitely not survive, so he sneered directly. She is going to die. Bang! The ice and snow dragon was crushed directly. Wild dragon. Chu Yuan said calmly. Owner. The wild dragon flew over. Sure enough, killing the half-saint is like killing an ant. Go straight into the depths of the restricted area, Chu Yuan said. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilu Novel Network. Although Chu Yuan is a time traveler, he has traveled to the original body and lived as the original body, which can be regarded as full of love for the original body. Although he avenged his original self, his obsession with this younger sister was still very deep, and judging from his memory, this younger sister was indeed very good and never left her. As a proud daughter of heaven, she still had a deep love for her. Always put the good-for-nothing brother first. If possible, Chu Yuan would not mind saving the other party. Of course, he would do what he could if the so-called masters of these half-saints were powerful and invincible to him. Run away without hesitation, instead of desperately trying to survive. My current strength does not rely much on my skills, nor on my cultivation, and the rules are just so-so. The main reason is the power of the eternal immortal body. Although the physique is powerful, after all, the physique is only one aspect, and other aspects must be made up as soon as possible. Only with comprehensive development can we overwhelm all enemies. Chu Yuan summed it up. The increase in strength brought by his physique is really powerful. His strength in the immortal realm, with the increase, is at least not weaker than the true saint. You must know that the gap between the immortal realm and the true saint, it's not as simple as 10,000 times. The gap between the immortal realm and the semi-saint is thousands of times, not to mention, the gap between the semi-saint and the true saint is also a gap. The increase in his strength is already terrifying. If he supplements it in other aspects, it will be even more terrifying. Those 5 semi-holy monsters that were killed just now didn't have space rings. Didn't they have any treasures at all? Chu Yuan is quite puzzled by this. 5 half-saints really don't have space rings. Doubts are doubts, and it's not worth thinking about for Chu Yuan. Riding on the desolate dragon, shuttled between the snowy sky and the earth, the desolate dragon, the current speed is terrifying, about 100,000 miles in the blink of an eye. It is extremely fast. It is many times faster than Fate-Yen Pavilion's flying boat. Well, there is really no comparison between a mere flying boat and a semi-holy monster. The ice palace, is that it? Soon, a huge ice palace came into view, and outside the palace, an ice creature that looked like a human but not human stood there. His aura was extremely terrifying, like an endless abyss, and the cold momentum was even more terrifying. The human soul is frozen. He looked at Chu Yuan, as if he was a human being, and said in an indifferent voice, "I didn't expect you to be so powerful, and you killed those 5 trashes. Let me guess, you should be a god? Or is it the Eucharist?" The wild dragon stopped. Under the terrifying momentum, he could no longer move forward. "Are you their so-called master?" Chu Yuan narrowed his eyes slightly. The other party knew that he had a physique, but he didn't know what his physique was. That's right. The body of eternal immortality. The only one in the world. It's not necessarily known whether anyone in this world knows it. Even if yes, it must be that kind of supreme existence, and the one in front of me naturally cannot be the supreme existence. That's right, I am their master. I thought they could bring you back, but unexpectedly, you came by yourself, forcing me to do it myself. The human-like creature said, "You know, every time I make a move, I need to sleep for a long time to recover. However, beheading a divine body or a holy body is worth it." Asleep? Are you not the real body? Chu Yuan has long noticed that this is just an ice sculpture. What can really be maintained is the blue divine light inside the ice sculpture. This is naturally not my true nature. The ice sculpture that looks like a human but not human said, "Is your body suppressed in this restricted area?" Chu Yuan thought of a possibility. Clever. The ice sculpture praised, "Do you know why this ice-restricted area is formed? It's because of me. My existence instinctively affects this world. What you see now is just an ice sculpture possessed by my weak aura." Chu Yuan narrowed his eyes slightly. His existence instinctively affects the world, but his weak aura? So awesome! Is it true or false? If it is true, then it is a bit awesome. But 397. No matter how awesome you are, you still get suppressed? My sister, you asked them to capture her, right? What is the so-called human elixir? Chu Yuan asked. Yes, the main medicine of the human elixir, the 9-day cold body. I felt it the moment she stepped into the ice-restricted area. Just like, when you set foot, I also felt it, but I don't know what your physique is. However, I feel that it is not weaker than the Jiutianhan body, which is comparable to the divine body. Do you know why I know she is Jiutianhanbo? Because I am also in the 9 heavens cold body. The ice sculpture explained in a leisurely manner. Chu Yuan was a little surprised. Unexpectedly, the other party also had the 9 heavens cold body. So, could he sense Gu Qingxue's 9 heavens cold body? If what the other party said was true, wouldn't that be true? At least the Jiutianhan body from 10,000 years ago? So, you use my sister to make elixirs? Chu Yuan was so indifferent. Of course, as we are both in the 9 heavens cold body, if I use her to practice the human pill, there is a chance that my physique will evolve again, thereby breaking the shackles and reaching a higher realm. Or even, Get out of here. Originally, it was almost successful. However, you appeared. I plan to use you as auxiliary medicine of the human elixir to refine it together to increase the human elixir grade. So, those losers went to catch you, but you killed them instead. Your strength is so powerful. However, I am not angry at all, but more excited. Those losers will die, and it is not a pity at all. You, on the other hand, can kill them with your immortal realm cultivation. You're the lowest, and they are all top-ranked divine bodies, and may even be holy bodies. As long as I refine you together, I will definitely get a human elixir that satisfies me. The ice sculpture said this, his tone a little more crazy. Why, what do you answer when asked? Chu Yuan asked curiously, logically speaking, shouldn't a being like you who has lived for a long time be very scheming and think about schemes all the time? How could you say everything that others asked? Or are you actually plotting against me? Chu Yuan was really interested in this. Ha ha. The ice sculpture laughed loudly. Scheming is a must, and calculations are common, but everything depends on the situation. To deal with a strong person of the same level or even stronger, it is natural to have scheming and calculation, but what about a weak person or an ant? Do you still need too much calculation? Too much. I see. Chu Yuan nodded, so? You just answered so many questions, do you think you've got the seat? The other party said that calculations are only used when dealing with people of the same level or stronger, but against weak people and ants, there is no need for calculations. Calculations are too redundant. And when the other party said so much to me just now, did he regard himself as a weakling or an ant? Doesn't this just kill him? Of course, it's not necessarily true. Maybe the other party is still plotting against him. As for what the other party said, he doesn't believe everything. But what is certain is that cheap sister Gu Qingxue must be here. For Chu Yuan, this is enough. Although you have a strong physique, your strength is too weak after all. Even if you are a holy body, it has not yet grown up. Therefore, you are destined to fall here today. Therefore, it can also be said that I will kill you, and it's better to make a human elixir before eating it. The ice sculpture that looked human but not human said this and slowly moved. The aura and pressure on his body were so terrifying that it made Huanglong, a semi-holy monster, feel like an ant. Owner, the opponent is very strong, Huanglong said solemnly. Chu Yuan nodded slightly and said, you retreat first, stay far away, and then I will deal with him. Master beware. Huanglong also knew that if he stayed, he would be outnumbered and would cause trouble to his master, so he decisively retreated hundreds of thousands of miles away. Seeing as you won't be captured without hesitation, then I can only beat you half to death and then take you to make alchemy. The body of the ice sculpture made a clicking sound, and the body made of crystal ice grew larger at this moment. It was like Chu Yuan's self, standing upright against the sky. In his hands, the power of ice gathered and turned into a huge ice sword. Desheng's ice rules. Chu Yuan narrowed his eyes slightly. 7 layers of ice rules. Don't boo. In Chu Yuan's hand, a golden gun appeared, and behind him, a big black bell appeared. They are all top-notch holy weapons. There are quite a lot of treasures, but in the face of absolute power, it is all in vain. Cut. The ice sculpture slashed out with a sword, and instantly a large amount of ice sword energy came towards Chu Yuan to kill him. Chu Yuan did not sit still and waited for death. A layer of spear rules was added to the top-grade holy weapons, and at the same time, the majestic immortal power also poured in. Among them, a spear pierced through the sky and the earth. There was a loud noise, and Chu Yuan felt his arm go numb, and the golden gun was contaminated with ice sword energy. And it continues to spread towards Chu Yuan. Shock. Boom. The power of immortality struck the big black bell behind him, and a loud bell sounded immediately, and layers of sound waves swept towards the ice sword energy. Bang! The ice sword energy shattered directly. The golden gun returned to normal. But this was just the beginning. The ice sculpture kept swinging the ice sword, and some of the ice sword energy came out from the corners. Yuan was attacked from all directions, and the ice rules of Desheng filled the air, trying to freeze Chu Yuan into an ice sculpture. The other party is indeed difficult to deal with. The extremely powerful power, coupled with Desheng's ice rules, is quite tricky. Shock. Boom. The sound of the bell swept out in all directions, but it only dispersed part of the ice sword energy. There was still a large amount of ice sword energy attacking Chu Yuan. Chu Yuan held the golden gun in his hand and chose one kill in one direction. It is easier to crush the ice sword energy in one direction than in all directions. With the increase of the immortal body, the power of the golden gun is pushed to the extreme, plus a layer of gun rules. The superposition of power directly shattered the ice sword energy. At this time, Chu Yuan's original form was too big to escape, and he soared into the sky. Those ice sword energies were chasing after Chu Yuan as if they were spirits. The combination of the sword energies turned into a divine phoenix with sword energy, vibrating its wings to chase Chu Yuan. Owner. Huang Long watched from a distance, full of worry. Although the master is extremely evil, he has not grown up after all, and the other party is an old monster who has lived for a long time. Although his true body cannot come out, he is also extremely terrifying. Opposite such an old monster is so unfair to the master. What a hassle. Chu Yuan glanced at the ice divine phoenix behind him, and the next moment, he directly sacrificed a golden bowl. Naturally, it was a golden bowl at the level of a semi-sacred king's weapon. After being enhanced 10,000 times, the golden bowl also changed its appearance. It was so wild. The dragon would not associate it with the previous semi-holy golden bowl. The golden bowl appeared, and Chu Yuan's immortal power poured into the golden bowl. In an instant, the golden bowl released thousands of golden light, and in the golden light, there was perfect Gungjin. Rules. Bang. In an instant, the ice divine phoenix exploded. Semi-Saint King Soldier? The ice sculpture's voice sounded extremely surprised. You are in the immortal realm, but you actually have such a treasure. Although it is not a real holy king's weapon, it is superior to the great holy soldier. Moreover, it contains the sharp and hard Gungjin artistic conception. Not all holy soldier weapons contain rules, such as gold. Spears and black bells do not contain rules. Saint weapons containing rules are undoubtedly more powerful than the same level. However, holy weapons containing rules are not so easy to build, because what is needed is the long-term warmth of the holy realm. Raise and sacrifice. Generally speaking, only the natal saint weapons that exist in the holy realm contain rules. This also leads to the fact that the natal saint weapons are generally stronger among the same level. It's just a semi-saint king soldier, so there's nothing surprising about it. Chu Yuan said indifferently. Your tone is not small. If your cultivation level in the immortal realm were not for the physical increase, you might not be able to activate the semi-saint king soldiers. Even if it can be activated, I'm afraid it will consume a lot of money. Your cultivation is too weak after all. The huge ice sculpture came step by step. I want to see how many times you can activate it to resist me. The ice sculpture disappeared and appeared in front of Chu Yuan. He slashed with his sword. He wanted to fight Chu Yuan in close combat. Chu Yuan put away the golden gun and the big black bell, and used the semi-sacred king soldiers to fight with the ice sculpture. Bang, bang, bang. There was a loud sound, and the aftermath swept hundreds of thousands of miles. The wild dragon was blown away by the aftermath, vomiting blood and looking shocked. How terrible was the aftermath? The master will not lose. He is destined to suppress everything. Huang Long stared into the distance. With the semi-saint king soldiers, Chu Yuan stood still and blocked all the attacks of the ice sculpture. After a long time, "You're not exhausted yet?" The ice sculpture was a little unbelievable and said, "Although my breath is weak, its power exceeds the realm of true saints, plus the ice rules of Desheng. Have you blocked them all? What is your physique and why do you last so long?" The ice sculpture felt extremely surprised for the first time. He found that he had underestimated this human race. "I don't believe you won't be exhausted." The ice sculpture roared angrily and struck the golden bowl with a sword. Does the power surpass the true saint? In terms of strength, there is an immortal body, and I am not much weaker than him. The only weak thing is the power of rules. Without the golden bowl, it would be quite troublesome to deal with his Desheng ice rules. Although it's good that I still have a trump card, I don't want to use it now. That being the case, then you can only use ice rules to be higher than the opponent. After Chu Yuan thought for a while, he decided to understand the artistic conception of ice. Once the ice rules are stronger than the opponent's, then there is no need to fear the opponent's ice rules. At that time, it will naturally be much easier to kill the opponent. As for stability, although the Golden Bowl consumes a lot of money for him, it is not too big. Even if it lasts for 10.5 months, it will not be a problem for him. It is so simple to destroy, and the power is endless. It is the first time that Chu Yuan has comprehended an artistic conception wholeheartedly. In the past, he had multitasked with all his strength, and there was still a lot of ice outside. Using the rules as a reference, at this moment, Chu Yuan's progress reached an unimaginable level. Before, his ice concept was close to 1.5 levels. At this moment, it directly broke through to 1.5 levels. A few minutes later, it broke through 2 levels. If you want the ice rules to be stronger than your opponent, you must have at least 7.5 levels of ice rules. 2.5 levels of artistic conception. After being enhanced 10,000 times, 1 level of rules can be obtained. And if you want to get more than 7.5 levels of rules, it should at least be necessary to comprehend the artistic conception to a great extent. Chu Yuan thought for a while. After a while, the artistic conception of ice, 2.5 layers. How can it be? Why haven't you exhausted yourself yet? A long time passed. The ice sculpture was not calm at all. Under his stormy offensive, the opponent was still able to hold on, which was far beyond his expectation. Etc. Is he comprehending the artistic conception of ice? The ice sculpture's eyes widened even more in disbelief. You know, to read exciting novels, go to Feilu's Xiaoxiunet. Under the bombardment he just covered with firepower, even 5 peak true saints would be exhausted if they controlled the semi-saint king soldiers together. However, the other party is only in the immortal realm. Moreover, it's only the first level of the immortal realm. Wrong, I was wrong. Bullshit divine body. Even a weaker holy body cannot have such ability. He must be a powerful holy body, even the legendary Tao body. Just when the ice sculpture was shocked. Boom! Chu Yuan's ice artistic conception has reached the 3rd level. The artistic conception is completed. What kind of understanding is this? Damn it. No, even if you can't take him down, you still have to consume him. It is a God-given opportunity for such beings to appear here. The effect of making a human elixir will be earth-shattering. Cut. The ice statue seemed to be going crazy, and its offensive became even more fierce. This made Chu Yuan stunned. But he didn't care about that, and continued to understand the artistic conception of ice. Supreme qualifications and understanding, a level of gunmanship rules. He used the 7th level Desheng ice rules as a reference, and studied it wholeheartedly. This allowed him to reach unprecedented speed. 10 minutes later, it was 3.5 minutes later, and it was 20 minutes later. After a few minutes, it was on the 4.5 floors. After more than 30 minutes, it was on the 5th floor. The further it got, the harder it was. It took him more than 40 minutes to reach the 5.5 floors. It took nearly an hour, that is, half an hour. At this time, he had been in the Golden Bowl for almost 2 hours. Tao body. It must be Taoist. The ice sculpture kept murmuring. The offensive did not stop for a moment. After another hour, the 7th level, the ice artistic conception was completed. After another 2 hours, the 8th level of the ice artistic conception. After 3 more hours later, the 9th level of the ice realm. At this time, 8 hours have passed. 9 floors, actually 9 floors. Moreover, he is not exhausted yet. The ice sculpture is already doubting life. At this time, more than half of the blue divine light in the ice sculpture has been consumed. After 9 levels and 10,000 times enhancement, can we obtain the great ice rules? Chu Yuan was not sure. After all, the layer of Gung Gold rules on the Golden Bowl only became the perfect Gung Gold rules after being strengthened 10,000 times. Then let's understand it until it reaches perfection. Chu Yuan made up his mind. He noticed the blue divine light of the ice sculpture. Just now, the blue divine light had been shining as if it had never diminished. But now half of it is left. That's right, he is just a breath in the first place, and it will naturally be exhausted. From this point of view, perhaps I don't have to rush to enhance the ice artistic conception 10,000 times. Just kill the opponent to death. Of course, you can continue to comprehend the artistic conception of ice. A gleam flashed in Chu Yuan's eyes. It's time to save a hand. Think of this. Chu Yuan continued to comprehend the artistic conception of ice. Moreover, his gift of immortal power began to decrease. Looks like he's starting to feel overwhelmed. The ice sculpture began to notice Chu Yuan's situation. Are you finally starting to run out of steam? Time passed little by little and more than 4 hours passed again. Boom. The artistic conception of ice was complete. Buzz, buzz. The golden bowl began to tremble, looking like it might be unstoppable at any time. Chu Yuan's face more and more pale. Human race, what's the use of understanding the artistic conception of ice? You can't hold it anymore. However, being able to hold on for so long really impressed me. The ice sculpture said indifferently, I am so surprised that you are actually a Taoist. However, even the Tao body will sometimes run out of energy. Chu Yuan said weakly, then let's see, who will be exhausted first? Xian Wang Zhao. The ice sculpture held the ice sword and struck the golden bowl with one sword. Repeated countless times. About 4 hours passed. Sure enough, it gets harder the further you go. The rudimentary artistic conception of ice has yet to be understood. At the very least, it will take more than half a day, and that's with the Desheng ice rules as a reference. Chu Yuan was quite helpless. Click. Suddenly, a shattering sound sounded, and the ice sword in the hand of the ice sculpture shattered. He half knelt on the ground unwillingly. Human, you win. This time, I was careless. Don't be complacent. When I get out of trouble, I will come to settle the score with you. Bang, bang, bang. The blue divine light dissipated, and the ice sculpture turned into ice slag and splashed everywhere. Chu Yuan put away the golden bowl. Owner. Huang Long quickly came over. He knew that the master would win. The master is invincible. Master, let's go and save your sister. The wild dragon flew under Chu Yuan and carried Chu Yuan on his back. Just stay here and wait for me, Chu Yuan said. Soon, Chu Yuan, who was pale and quite weak, arrived in front of the ice palace. He kicked the Qianzhong ice gate into pieces. Walked in step by step. In front of him, a huge ice furnace was hanging in the air by many ice chains. Guqing Xue should be inside. Chu Yuan approached slowly. However, at this moment, a sudden change occurred. A blast of ice sword energy suddenly slashed out of the toilet from behind Chu Yuan. When dash! A loud noise sounded. The half-Saint King Bingjin Bo had already blocked him. Chu Yuan slowly turned around and said, I knew you were not that simple. Chu Yuan slowly turned around. Now, all weakness and paleness disappeared from him. He stood proudly, extremely calm, with his immortal divine light shining like an immortal divine king, overlooking the world. At the entrance of the ice hall, in front of the 1,000-foot-long gate that Chu Yuan had just kicked to pieces, an ice figure appeared at some point, blocking the door. The body of ice that looks inhuman and inhuman, the broad ice sword, still looks like it can be slashed out with one sword. No doubt. The ice sword energy just now came from his hand. And his appearance is exactly the same as the ice sculpture that was broken outside just now. The only difference is that the blue divine light inside his body is more than 10 times more powerful and intense than the one outside. Breath. Naturally, it is also more than 10 times more terrifying. Click, click, click. The ice sculpture withdrew the giant ice sword, took a deep look at Chu Yuan, and said indifferently, Same for you. I also know that you are not that simple. You are so young, but you are so cunning in your actions. You humans really have a lot of tricks. Chu Yuan was non-committal, but said, You are also very thoughtful. You deliberately let the ice sculpture outside dissipate to make me careless. Then wait here for me to come in, and then make a sneak attack. Keeping an extra hand is also to be prepared. Just like you, if you didn't keep a hand, you would be unprepared. Just now, you should have been frozen by my sword. The ice sculpture did not rush to take action. It just stood there, releasing an extremely powerful aura that shook the void. Chu Yuan's eyes flashed with divine light. From the beginning, he did not believe what the ice sculpture said outside. Now he knew it was. The ice sculpture said so much to him, just to give Chu Yuan the illusion that the ice sculpture was the final boss and to make Chu Yuan relax his vigilance. In fact, the ice sculpture outside was just for testing ore. It's just about weakening Chu Yuan. The real highlight is hidden in it, and if he was careless just now, he might have succeeded. I am keeping a secret, you should have already guessed it, right? In particular, I didn't bring a mount with me. Chu Yuan said calmly. That's right, you haven't been weak for so long before. If you suddenly become weak, it will inevitably arouse suspicion, but I can't be sure. So, just let that body release its full strength to consume you. Until you didn't bring that wild dragon in, I knew you should be on guard. However, I still chose to make a sneak attack, just in case I was overly worried and you were completely unprepared. Or, just in case, you become careless after seeing the furnace, I succeeded. At this point, the ice sculpture shook his head and smiled and said, unfortunately, none of these situations have occurred. As he spoke, the giant ice sword pointed at Chu Yuan, and the terrifying murderous intention almost materialized. However, it doesn't matter if you don't succeed in the sneak attack. Your biggest support is just that turtle shell. Before, my body was too weak to break through the defense of the turtle shell. But it's different now. In this ice palace, not only am I more than 10 times stronger than outside, I can also use the ice rules to achieve the perfection level. The soldiers of the Semi-Saint King can't stop me. As soon as he finished speaking, the perfect ice rules emerged around him. The surrounding void began to freeze, and the temperature dropped to the extreme, making the soul feel stinging. The ice sculptures were strategizing, as if they had everything under control. In his hand, he stared at Chu Yuan indifferently. I want to see how long you, an immortal state, can hold on with your unknown Tao body and that turtle shell that contains the perfect Gengjin artistic conception. Support. Chu Yuan's playful voice sounded. Maybe you don't need to hold on. The ice sculpture was slightly startled. The only thing this human race can rely on is the Semi-Saint King soldier. Without the perfect Gengjin artistic conception inside the turtle shell, this human race can't stop him at all. But using a turtle shell is just holding on. Go. However, at this moment, an indifferent voice came. With Chu Yuan as the center, 10 bloody flags instantly formed a formation and spread out. Before the ice sculpture had time to react, it was enveloped in the formation. This formation is naturally Si Danyang's blood demon formation. When Chu Yuan broke through the formation, he did not destroy the formation's formation flag. Moreover, it was enhanced by him 10,000 times from the incomplete low-grade saint level. The low-grade holy king level was incomplete. Yes, after 10,000 times enhancement, it was still incomplete. Chu Yuan seemed to understand a little bit. Most of the 10,000 times enhancement was just to increase the power and level, and it didn't seem to be complete. Whoosh! At the same time, 10 streams of essence and blood flew out and disappeared into the formation flag. All of them were semi-saint blood. Then, there were high-grade holy crystals, although there was no one from Si Danang. Hundreds of soul palace-like slaves helped control it. However, the formation B was very stable in a short time. The ice sculpture was almost enveloped by the formation. The sword slashed everywhere. However, even with the blessing of perfect ice rules, it could not break the formation, but it made the formation tremble slightly. The residual Holy King level formation. The ice sculpture was extremely surprised. You are a small person in the first level of the immortal realm. Even if you have half-Saint King soldiers, you actually have this kind of formation. Moreover, it was hidden so deeply that you were reluctant to use it outside before, right? Isn't it just to guard against you? Chu Yuan stood outside the formation, extremely calm. Do you think that the broken Holy King level formation can trap me forever? This is impossible. When I come out, you won't be able to escape. The ice sculpture said in a deep voice. At this moment, he was already angry. He didn't expect that a mere immortal realm would be so difficult to deal with. He didn't underestimate the other party. He even spared his opponent. Unexpectedly, he still failed to win the opponent. Instead, he himself was trapped in the formation. Is this the immortal realm? The real saint has to die several times. Boom. The ice dragon keeps attacking the formation, not to mention it. The formation is constantly shaking due to his beating, and it can really be broken by him if it takes a little longer. I have no intention of giving you a chance to come out. A cold light flashed in Chu Yuan's eyes. The other party wanted to make him into a human elixir, so naturally he would not let him go easily. Chu Yuan felt that what the ice sculpture outside said before was half true and half false. The other party's body should be real. He was suppressed in this ice-forbidden area, and it was very possible that the ice-forbidden area was really formed because of the other party. Moreover, the other party was probably using the 9 heavens cold body to refine the human elixir. The power that the other party can use is limited, and if he attacks once, he may really have to sleep for a long time. However, he does not refer to the ice sculpture outside, but in fact, it is the same whether it is outside or inside. It's just the opponent's breath power. That's all the opponent can do at one time. If he has a stronger power, there's no need to show it, because the opponent thinks Chu Yuan is a Taoist. It's very useful. So, Chu Yuan can roughly judge that if nothing unexpected happens, this powerful ice sculpture is the most powerful force that the suppressed existence can use. Without this power, the suppressed being would have been sleeping for a long time. Therefore, Chu Yuan decided to help him to fall asleep quickly. Aren't you going to let me out? The formation can't trap me forever. The ice sculpture snorted coldly. Even if it lasts for half an hour, I can't trap you. My intention is not to trap you, but to completely obliterate your aura. Chu Yuan made no secret and said directly. Ha ha, joke. The ice sculpture laughed angrily. Human race, you only relied on the broken holy king level formation to trap me. Why do you think you can obliterate me? Of course, this. In Chu Yuan's hand, the half-saint king's soldier golden bowl appeared again. However, this time, there was a mass of blood mist in the golden bowl. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilu Novel Network. Meteor Saint, the demonic blood that was in the storage ring was enhanced 10,000 times by Chu Yuan. At this moment, it can corrode any living thing below the level of a holy king, let alone the living beings. We're all corroded. Chu Yuan also used the golden bowl of the semi-saint king soldier to contain it in a short time. The blood of the fallen saint and demon? Is it such an evil thing? Moreover, it's not just ordinary fallen saint demon blood. How can you have this? The ice sculpture was shocked. Seeing the blood of the fallen saint and the demon, the blue divine light in his body trembled instinctively. I have a lot of stuff here. Chu Yuan chuckled. Snort. The ice sculpture snorted coldly and said calmly, this thing is indeed powerful, but it can't corrode me. Human race, I think we can discuss terms. Oh? Chu Yuan was slightly surprised. What's there to talk about? If you just retreat, I will let bygones be bygones, but Rindan must continue to stay. The ice sculpture said coldly, don't think that I'm afraid of you. I just think that the blood of the meteor saint demon is slightly difficult to deal with. It's not that I can't solve it. I'm tired, and I don't want to fight you to the death. By then, none of us will benefit. But, Chu Yuan smiled lightly and said, how do I feel that you are actually afraid of the blood of the fallen saint and demon? Chu Yuan did not believe that the other party was really not afraid. After saying that, Chu Yuan came directly to the formation and buckled the golden bowl. At the same time, Wei Wei controlled the formation and put the blood of the meteor saint demon into it. Human race. You. The horrified voice of the ice sculpture sounded. He wanted to swing the ice giant sword to attack the meteor saint to grind the blood, but the ice giant sword was directly corroded. In fact, both the ice sculpture itself and the ice giant sword are just Yulan. It is nothing more than a weapon formed by controlling the rules of ice. It cannot resist the corrosion of the blood of the fallen saint. Not long after, screams came from the formation. I saw the blood mist transformed from the blood of the fallen saint demon, wrapping the blue divine light, corroding it bit by bit. Of course, with every bit of corrosion, the fallen saint demon the blood will dissipate a little. It's like the two powers cancel each other out. Chu Yuan flew directly to the huge ice furnace without paying attention to the ice sculpture, or to be precise, the scream of the blue divine light. The power of the immortal body was used to lift the lid of the huge ice cauldron, and everything in the cauldron was dazzling. In the middle, there is a figure curled up in a ball on top of a huge lotus. She is wearing a thin dress, her hair is as white as snow, her eyebrows are as beautiful as a fairy. But at this moment, she looked extremely pale and weak, and I felt pity for her. The power of ice floated out directly from her body, along with the breath of various precious medicines. Gu Qingxue. Seeing her, Chu Yuan no longer hesitated at all. He flew directly over and held her in his arms. With a backhand, he received all the precious medicine into the space ring. 8th 9-level medicines, even holy-grade medicines, come in big bundles. The screams continued, especially after seeing Chu Yuan carrying Gu Qingxue out. He became even more crazy. Chu Yuan looked intently and saw that most of the blue divine light had been corroded and was running around. But there were the formation blocks and it is impossible to escape. The blood of the fallen saint is the most powerful in corroding the aura of living beings. This formation is naturally unable to corrode other things. The blue divine light is gone, forming the body of an ice sculpture, let alone breaking the formation. Young human race, I will not let you go. It will take at least 100 years for me to escape. Even if you escape to the ends of the earth, I will definitely kill you. In the faint blue divine light, there was a vicissitudes of voice that seemed human and inhuman, full of endless hatred. Why does it take 100 years? After a while, I will personally come to kill you. Chu Yuan's indifferent voice sounded. The other party's aura is so powerful, let alone itself. Today's Chu Yuan is definitely not the opponent's opponent. But after a period of time, it will not be certain. Enemies have been made, Chu Yuan it won't let the other party live too long. To others, it's nothing, but to Chu Yuan, it's still a long time. Maybe I won't be the one to kill you when the time comes. Chu Yuan lowered his head and glanced at the beauty in his arms. Then, he strode away. As for the blood demon array, he doesn't want it anymore. He didn't want to stay here for too long, lest something unexpected happen. After Chu Yuan left the ice palace, he flew away at high speed. Owner. Not long after, Huang Long appeared in front of him. Chu Yuan jumped on Huang Long's head and said, "Let's go, just leave the restricted area." The next moment, the wild dragon turned into golden light and disappeared from the sky. Above the wild dragon's head, Chu Yuan sat cross-legged and put Gu Qingxue down from the princess' arms. He was too weak. Not only his body was weak, but his soul was also weak, so he fell into a deep sleep. After checking it, Chu Yuan probably understood Gu Qingxue's situation. This is... Gu Qingxue's two petite jade hands were tightly together. After he separated them slightly, he found that she was holding a snowflake in her hand. No, it was a precious medicine, and it was the function of the 7th grade treasure medicine, Snow Lotus Holy Flower, is to improve people's low-level qualifications to medium-level qualifications. Isn't this the Snow Lotus Holy Flower that Zhao Hao told her about? She actually found it, and she kept it in her hand to protect it. No doubt, she wanted to take it back to her brother. Doesn't she know that she almost won't survive? At this time, are you still thinking about your brother? Chu Yuan sighed quietly and almost shed tears of envy. Then he said seriously, "Such a sister is really enviable. Now she is mine." Hu Yuan took out the holy elixir to restore the soul and the body's energy and blood, gave it to Gu Qingxue, and then used his immortal power to help her dissolve the medicine. "Recover slowly, and you should be able to wake up soon." Chu Yuan nodded with satisfaction. Although Gu Qingxue is very weak, she is not seriously injured. Her foundation has not been damaged. She can just rest for a while. It can be considered a blessing in disguise, as his own cultivation has broken through to the 5th level of the Soul Palace realm. You know, more than half a year ago, Gu Qingxue was still at the 9th level of the Divine Elixir realm, and there was still a magical power realm between the Soul Palace realm. However, only a few months later, she had already become the 5th level of the Soul Palace realm. If she practices according to her own practice, she will only be able to reach the 5th level of the supernatural power realm at most. Although she has a physique like the 9 heavens cold body that is comparable to the divine body, cultivation also takes time. 2.5 years is undoubtedly a short time. Moreover, her body has also absorbed a large amount of medicinal power. In the future practice, the medicinal power of these medicinals will be exerted, and her practice speed will not be too slow. At least, this is how it used to be in the Holy Realm. Gu Qingshua's situation was clear to him at a glance. At the same time, he also took out a semi-saint level spiritual garment that could be changed at will from the space ring, turning it into the clothes Gu Qingxue liked, and helped her put it on. "Master, it's time to exit." Huang Long's voice sounded. There was a light gate in front of him. Huang Long rushed out without hesitation. In a blink of an eye, he appeared outside the Baiduan Mountain restricted area. Behind him were the 3 light gates. Call. Chu Yuan breathed a sigh of relief. The reason why he left the Blood Demon Array and left the ice-restricted area as quickly as possible was because he was worried that the being inside had other means. After all, the existence that has been suppressed here for more than tens of thousands of years has an aura that surpasses that of a true saint. Who knows if the other party has other methods? It would be bad if the other party went crazy and used some terrorist methods regardless of the cost. After leaving the ice-restricted area, it will be much better. At the very least, the opponent should not be able to affect the outside here. Otherwise, the ice land should not only be inside the light gate. The ice forbidden zone probably suppressed an ancient 9 heavens cold body, but is the same true for the other 2 restricted zones, the poison mist forbidden zone and the earth fire forbidden zone? Chu Yuan couldn't help but wonder, is the purpose of the existence of the Baiduan Mountain forbidden zone just to suppress them? But why suppress them? What mistake did they make? Also, at the very least, the person in the ice forbidden zone should not be a human race. And suppress them. Chu Yuan glanced at the spear spirit above his eyes and said softly, "It should be a powerful spear spirit. Master, should we leave or?" The wild dragon stopped in front of the 3 light gates. The master only said that he was leaving the ice-restricted area, but did not say where he was going, so he asked, "Let me stop here for a moment, and let me understand the meaning of the gun here." Chu Yuan said slowly, "Now that Gu Qingxue has been found, the ice-restricted area should not threaten them, but there is nothing urgent to leave. By the way, you should also understand the Gingjin rules and improve your strength." Chu Yuan threw the golden bowl to Huang Long. "Master this." Huang Long was dumbfounded. This was a semi-sacred king soldier. "I'm borrowing it for your enlightenment. I'm not giving it to you." "Why are you so excited?" Chu Yuan chuckled and said. "Well," Huang Long suddenly felt a little embarrassed and said, "Of course I know that the master is using me to gain enlightenment, but it is still too expensive. Treasures are only external objects and one's own strength is the most important." Chu Yuan said seriously, "In time, when you are really strong enough to control this golden bowl, why don't I give it to you? Come to enlightenment quickly and don't bother me with any more words." Finally, Chu Yuan waved his hand. Huang Long nodded, extremely moved. Huang Long is dispensable to his master. He saw it with his own eyes. When his master hits a semi-saint like him, it's like pinching him. Like a dead ant. What an ice dragon, a snow fox, it's a shame to die. However, for such a useless dragon, how could he not be moved even if he was so kind to him? Without a master, he is still just a 6th-level monster. Moreover, he may have been killed by the group of people who disturbed his master's cultivation in the wild dragon cave before. The people behind those who died and the vicious woman. If the master hadn't killed that woman, he would have killed that woman, so he would have been alive. And he became a semi-saint, which was a gift from his master. For his master, he went to heaven and earth, even to the death. A strange scene appeared at the entrance of the 3 restricted areas. A huge wild dragon was staring at a golden man. Bo, sometimes opening his eyes, sometimes closing his eyes, comprehends the artistic conception of Gungjin. And on top of the huge dragon head, an extremely handsome young man is sitting cross-legged, staring at the large characters on the entrance to the 3 restricted areas, evolving the rules of the gun. And an incomparably beautiful fairy-like woman was lying quietly on his lap with her eyes closed. Gu Qingxue's condition gradually improved, and her face gradually turned pale. Become rosy. 3 days later, Hengduan City. I heard that the city lord of Hengduan City is dead, and the big families in the city are vying for the position of city lord overtly and covertly. I have also heard about this matter, but it is said that the city lord is the royal family of the Tianfeng kingdom. As the families in Hengduan City compete for the position of city lord, aren't they afraid that the royal family of the Tianfeng kingdom will interfere? TSK, what does it matter if the city lord of Hengduan City dies? I heard that the emperor of Tianfeng kingdom also died. Real or fake? No way. Didn't it say that the emperor was in the golden body state? Yes, the emperor of the Tianfeng kingdom was in the golden realm. He founded the Tianfeng kingdom 1,000 years ago and was recognized by the Yuhua dynasty and became a vassal state of the Yuhua dynasty. In his 1,000 years of reign, there has never been a change of emperor. It is said that he is still at the peak of his powers and will have no problem remaining emperor for another 1,000 years. Did he really fall like this? Can it still be fake? The entire Tianfeng kingdom has already been in a commotion, and I heard that the princes are also vying for the throne. So, who has time to take care of Hengduan City? It doesn't matter whether he is an emperor or not. Lao Tzu pursues the Great Road. Who is the emperor and what does it have to do with Lao Tzu? I remember that not long ago, a golden chariot pulled by 5 dragons drove through Hengduan City and then went to the Baiduan Mountain restricted area. The golden chariot drawn by the 5 dragons seemed to be the car of the emperor of Tianfeng kingdom. In this case, he should have fallen into the forbidden area of Baiduan Mountain. The restricted area of Baiduan Mountain is really dangerous. Yes, let alone the golden body realm. Do you still remember the 2 eminent monks in the immortal realm? Of course I remember, how could I forget? Chu Yuan, who was rumored to be the reincarnation of a saint, understood the rules of spear intention at the stone tablet in the forbidden area of Baidu Mountain and killed Sikong, the golden elder of Tianlong Temple. Then, 2 immortal monks from Tianlong Temple came to seek revenge on Chu Yuan, but they didn't know that Chu Yuan was not found, but instead he provoked a semi-saint wild dragon in the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain and was killed. A half-saint, even in the Yuhua dynasty, can dominate one side. That day, I saw with my own eyes that the 10,000-foot desolate dragon chased out of the Hengduan Mountains from the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain and killed 2 immortals. That scene was so terrifying, the sky collapsed and the earth shattered, and the mountains turned into powder. I don't know if Chu Yuan is dead or not. He shouldn't be dead. He has understood the rules of the gun and can kill people in the golden body realm instantly. Moreover, his cultivation level has broken through very quickly. Maybe he has reached the Soul Palace realm now. Not necessarily. Maybe he encountered a being like the semi-saint wild dragon and was swallowed in one bite. In a restaurant in Hengduan City, countless monks were discussing, not only in this restaurant, but also in most other places. Amitba. 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 However, at this moment, a loud Sanskrit sound came from between heaven and earth, and the 4 words Amitba reached my ears, shaking my soul. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilu Novel Network. Immediately, countless people in Hengduan City couldn't help holding their heads and wailing. The Sanskrit sounds were terrifying and torturing, but they didn't lead to death. Even if a mortal listened to them, will not die, but will be more painful than death. Of course, some people will be so painful that they vomit blood, but they will not die but will be seriously injured. Tenryuji Temple. It's the people from Tianlong Temple who are here. Humanity with supernatural powers. Where? Countless people looked around, but they were extremely afraid in their hearts. Exist superior. Some people couldn't help, but their pupils shrank suddenly. Everyone looked at it intently and were stunned. They saw an extremely huge celestial dragon passing through the sky of Hengduan City without stopping. Above the celestial dragon, it was extremely terrifying. The aura keeps coming, like the sky is falling apart. It is extremely terrifying. The sky and the earth are pale. The sun and the moon have no light. That dragon turned out to be composed of powerful figures, my God. How many people were dispatched from Tianlong Temple this time? The direction they went to was the Hongduan Mountains and the Baiduan Mountains restricted area. Was it because of Chu Yuan? Not necessarily, maybe to kill that semi-holy wild dragon. Is it possible to kill the semi-holy wild dragon? Nothing is impossible. I heard that there are 3.5 Buddhas in Tianlong Temple, and each of them is a half-saint. It's terrifying. It's too terrifying. Such a force can wipe out the Tianfeng Kingdom royal family with just one finger. The auras of those many powerful men are too terrifying. How many golden bodies and immortal realms are there? Countless people were stunned. The people from Tianlong Temple left just as quickly as they came. Soon, the painful Sanskrit sounds disappeared. Countless people were slumped on the ground, gasping for air, as if they were surviving the disaster. There are many people with fearful expressions on their faces. It is so terrifying to pass by. What would it be like if they came to Hongduan City? Latest news. Latest news. Big news. Some people got the latest and most explosive news from the know-how agency, and they all called out. What's up? What happened? What's the big news? Countless people are extremely curious. The latest news is that those people from Tianlong Temple are heading towards Chu Yuan. They have already gone to Tian'an sect and learned that Chu Yuan's soul lamp has not been extinguished, and they have also captured the great elder of Tian'an sect. He actually came here for Chu Yuan, and Chu Yuan actually survived after entering the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain for so long. Not dead, but probably not far away from death. There are too many people from Tianlong Temple. Even if he is really the reincarnation of an ancient saint, he has not yet grown up. Facing the siege of Tianlong Temple, he is in danger. If you want to kill Chu Yuan, just kill Chu Yuan. Why do you want to capture the great elder of Tian'an sect? Do you want to threaten Chu Yuan? Isn't this right? I heard that Chu Yuan and Tian'an sect had already broken up. This is wrong. Chu Yuan just broke up with some people in Tian'an sect. Those people cannot represent Tian'an sect. Moreover, the great elder of Tian'an sect is the master of Chu Yuan's sister Gu Qingxue. For the sake of Gu Qingxue, Chu Yuan would not ignore it. There's a good show to watch. How about going to see it? Aren't you afraid of death? It's okay. Look from a distance. As long as you don't approach like a fool, you'll be fine. I have to say that the existence of a suspected ancient saint and a behemoth like Tianlong Temple are really attractive. It would be a pity to miss it. Go, walk, learn more. I made it clear, go back and stay away. Also, if they enter the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain, they won't go. You can still see the Hongduan Mountains. There are not many people who like to watch the excitement, not to mention that it is such a great excitement that is rare in hundreds of years. Suddenly, a steady stream of people began to go to the Hongduan Mountains one after another. From the True Yuan realm to the Soul Palace realm, there were all kinds of people. The strong stay with the strong, the weak stay with the weak. A group of people from Tianlong Temple stopped on the sky dome of the stone monument in the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain. Those who understood the meaning of the gun on the stone tablet raised their heads in shock. However, these people at Tenryaji Temple ignore the people below. They're aloof and have no interest in the ants below. Why don't the two half-Buddhas directly enter the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain? Asked an immortal realm venerable. Among the group of people in Tianlong Temple, the first and second half-Buddhas were walking at the front, followed by nearly 20 immortal realms, and after that, more than 40, there are nearly 200 people in the Golden Body realm, as well as more than 200 in the Soul Palace realm, and 800 in the Divine Power realm. This kind of power is so powerful that if you just take out a few, you can do whatever you want, pushing all the top sect forces in the Tianfeng Kingdom. At this time, 2 Golden Realm Elders are responsible for leading the Tian'an sect's great elder Yutiani. At this moment, Yutiani's cultivation has been sealed. There are too many unknown factors in the forbidden area of Baiduan Mountain. Take the wild dragon that killed the fat and thin sages. I have never heard of it before. I don't know how many such existences there are. The skinny first half-Buddha said, anyway, this is the only exit from the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain, and I just found out that Chu Yuan has not come out, so just wait here. At the very least, wait until the third half-Buddha brings the Buddha from Lane Holy Land. After saying that, He threw out the Tianlong Zen staff in his hand. The next moment, the Zen staff turned into a metal Tianlong. There is no doubt that this is also the semi-holy weapon. He said slowly, "Get on the Zen staff and wait." Baiduan Mountain Restricted Area. Outside the entrance to the 3 restricted areas. Boom. Around Chu Yuan, the rules of the gunway broke through, reaching 2.5 levels. When he was at the first level of the rules of the gunway, he had comprehended them together with other artistic conceptions. When he left the ice-restricted area, his rules of the gunway had already reached the level of 2.5. It's infinitely close to 1.5 levels. Therefore, he meditated at the entrance to the restricted area for less than half a day, and he broke through to the 1.5 levels. Then he meditated for more than 2 days and improved 1 level again, reaching the current level of 2.5 levels. The will of the gun is the will of the gun. The rules of the gunway are a way of existence and operating rules after the gun mind is sublimated. Whether it is power or coercion, it far exceeds the gun mind. Hiss. After feeling Chu Yuan's astonishing spear intent, Huanglong couldn't help but stop and said in shock, "The master's gun rules have been broken again." How long has it been since then? Alas, I studied the Golden Bull for 3 days, but Mao didn't comprehend it. It was too offensive to the dragon. Huanglong couldn't help but reveal a wry smile, and then immersed himself in understanding, working hard to make up for his shortcomings and redoubling his efforts. Call. At this time, Chu Yuan breathed a long sigh of relief and glanced down at the beauty on his lap. At this moment, Gu Qingshue's expression had returned to normal. The body has returned to normal, but the soul is still a little bit weak. Coupled with the excessive mental exertion, it is estimated that it will take a day or 2 to wake up. Then, Chu Yuan found the snowflake-shaped holy snow lotus flower in the space ring and looked at it with his scanning eyes. Snow lotus sacred flower, a 7th-grade treasure medicine that can upgrade low-level qualifications to medium-level resources and can be enhanced 10,000 times. Yes/no. Chu Yuan clicked yes. Ding. 10,000 times enhanced success, 590. The system prompt sounded, and then the information in front of you changed. Snow lotus holy flower, a low-grade holy medicine that can increase the talents of heaven and man to 10 times the talents of heaven and man. Low-grade holy medicine can also be called low-grade holy medicine or low-grade holy medicine. They all mean the same thing. It's a pity that my current qualifications have already surpassed 10 times those of heavenly beings. This thing is no longer useful to me or even to Gu Qingxue. Chu Yuan gently scratched the bridge of her nose and said helplessly, "I almost risked my life and all my hard work was in vain." Although it was useless to him, it was obtained by Gu Qingshue's hard work, and it meant something different to Gu Qingxue. Therefore, Chu Yuan did not take it out otherwise. He could have thrown it to Huanglong. After all, Huanglong's qualifications are not very good. There are too few treasures for improving qualifications. Among the many treasures here, except for this holy snow lotus flower, none of them can improve qualifications. Although the holy snow lotus flower is of the 7th grade, its value is not as good as those of the 8th or 9th grade. Low and low-grade saint level, not to mention. Chu Yuan thought in his heart. By the way, I remember that among the precious medicines that were walking around in the ice cauldron, there happens to be one that I can use now. Chu Yuan searched inside the space ring and soon found a strange-looking grass in a corner. This grass had 2 branches. One side was lush and green, full of vitality, and the other side was withered, old, and full of richness, concentrated with the intention of death. Liangi Life and Death Grass is a 9th-grade treasure medicine, which contains a layer of the artistic conception of life and the artistic conception of death. After taking it, you can instantly master the artistic conception of life and death. For those in the immortal realm, this is a supreme treasure. The immortal realm can comprehend the artistic conception of life and the artistic conception of death and break through to a higher realm. However, these 2 artistic conceptions are not so easy to comprehend for most people. Generally speaking, it is difficult to grasp the embryonic form of artistic conception. The artistic conception of Xiaoqing enters the golden body, and the artistic conception of Desheng reaches immortality. At least one masters the artistic conception of Desheng, but the artistic conception mastered is not necessarily the artistic conception of life or the artistic conception of death. Because these two artistic conceptions are very difficult. Most of them are those of swords, guns, swords, metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. The difficulty of understanding the artistic conception of life and death is several times greater than that of other artistic conceptions. The artistic conception of life and the artistic conception of death can also form the artistic conception of life and death. The first level of artistic conception of life and death can be compared with the second level of artistic conception of others. Of course, Liangyi life and death grass is more than one level for those who have mastered the artistic conception of life and death. As far as existence is concerned, it is of no use at all. But for me, this is really a great treasure, Chu Yuan said in his heart. Then, Liangyi life and death grass, a 9th grade treasure medicine. After taking it, you can instantly master the artistic conception of life and the artistic conception of death. It can be enhanced 10,000 times. Yes/no. Start the operation. Next moment. Liangyi life and death grass, a top-grade holy medicine. After taking it, you can instantly master the artistic conception of perfect life and the artistic conception of death. Seeing this, Chu Yuan couldn't help but grin. It's great. Next, take it out, wrap it in the immortal power, swallow it in one gulp, and it will melt in your stomach. Boom! A series of insights about the artistic conception of life and death instantly poured into his sea of consciousness and into his soul. In an instant, these insights were digested by him. The perfect artistic conception of life and death appeared and diffused around him. Huanglong was awakened from his deep meditation. After feeling the two states of perfection, he was dumbfounded. What is going on with the master? Why did you master the two states of perfection so quickly? Incomprehensible, so incomprehensible. Forget it. It's normal if I can't understand it. It would be weird if I could understand it. Master, you are so evil. Huanglong couldn't help but sigh in his heart. However, he had just finished sighing. Boom! Chu Yuan's immortal power was shocked, and his cultivation level began to soar. He could break through his cultivation level before, but he didn't realize it. These are just two artistic conceptions, so his cultivation is stagnant. Now that he has understood it, he no longer suppresses his cultivation. The immortal realm from the first level to the 4th level peak is the realm of life. The 5th level to the 8th level peak is the death realm, and the 9th level is the realm of death. Reaching the 9th level peak is the realm of immortality where life and death are combined. If you comprehend the first level of the artistic conception of life, you can break through to the 2nd level peak. The 2nd level of the artistic conception of life can break through to the 3rd level peak. The 3rd level is Xiaoqing's life. The artistic conception can reach the 4th level. The same is true for the death realm. Therefore, if you want to reach the 8th level of the immortal realm, you must master Xiaoqing's artistic conception of life and Xiaoqing's artistic conception of death. After the fusion of these Xiaoqing artistic conceptions, they become Xiaoqing's life and death artistic conception, and only then can they enter the 9th level of immortality and the 9th level peak. At this time, life and death are combined, and I am in you, and you are in me, plus the magical power of immortality. At this time, as long as the soul is immortal and the immortal power is hidden in the blood, he can achieve rebirth with blood. At this time, Chu Yuan, who has mastered these two states of perfection, will naturally have an unobstructed breakthrough in his cultivation. The peak of the 1st level of the immortal realm. The 2nd level of the immortal realm. The peak of the 7th level of immortality. The 8th level of immortality. The peak of the 8th level of the immortal realm. It wasn't until this moment that it stopped. Breaking 7.5 small realms in a row. Good. Under the increase of the eternal immortal body, the strength becomes more and more terrifying. Although I have mastered the perfect artistic conception of life and death, they still exist separately. If you want to combine and fuse them, you have to understand them. However, the fusion only needs to reach a small level of success, and I can continue to make breakthroughs. Chu Yuan is quite satisfied. Furthermore, it doesn't take much time for him to integrate the artistic conception. Congratulations to the master for his great improvement in cultivation. To read Baoshuang novels, go to Feilu Novel Network. Huanglong's delighted voice came. He was also happy for his master's great improvement in cultivation. Moreover, he was not surprised. After all, his master continued to break through this. This is not the first time that this has happened. Last time, he directly skipped the Golden Body realm and reached the Immortal realm. For the master, continuous breakthroughs are completely basic operations. Chu Yuan responded slightly. Then, he tried to fuse the two artistic conceptions, hoping to complete the fusion of the two artistic conceptions before Gu Qingxue woke up. Baiduan Mountain Restricted Area, on top of the stone monument. A huge golden celestial dragon stretches across the sky, exuding immeasurable pressure. Senior monks from the celestial dragon meditate on it, chanting the mysteries of Buddhist scriptures. Suddenly, the horizon was refracted by golden light, causing many eminent monks to look over. The eyes of the skinny first-half Buddha and the fat second-half Buddha sitting in front showed joy. The second-half Buddha said happily, "It's the third-half Buddha and Yijia Buddha from the Thunder Sound Holy Land. Come and greet them quickly." Soon, two figures with their feet on the lotus platform landed on the Tianlong Zen staff. That one is quite fat, with his chest exposed and his face always the one. With a bright smile is naturally the third-half Buddha of Tenryuji Temple. The other one is tall, with a male-female appearance, a white face, a red mole between his eyebrows, two pairs of slender palms clasped together, and a faint smile on his face. Naturally, he is the so-called Yijia Buddha. He wears a white monk's robe, arms exposed. The eminent monks of Tianlong Temple paid homage to Buddha Yekyamuni one after another. The 3.5 Buddhas were all extremely polite. Their gestures, words, and deeds were full of compliments and flattery. "Buddha, do you need to enter the restricted area to search?" After chatting for a while, the first-half Buddha asked respectfully. "For the time being, wait for 10 days and a half. If you still don't come out, it's not too late to go in and search. Anyway, it won't waste much time," Buddha Yejia said softly. He glanced at the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain and narrowed his eyes slightly. He always felt that there was an extremely dangerous atmosphere inside. The technique he practiced could predict some crises. He always felt that there was a slight danger. It was because of this ominous premonition that he did not want to set foot in the restricted area of Baiduan Mountain. The four semi-saints and the Buddha Yijia are even more unfathomable. Chu Yuan, you must not come out." Behind the Tianlong Zen staff, Yu Tianyi prayed in his heart. She did not expect that Tianlong Temple would go to this extent in order to kill Chu Yuan. Forget about 3.5 Buddhas, they even invited a Buddhist disciple from the Holy Land. She had come into contact with many people in the Holy Land before, and none of them were simple, and they had various methods that made them difficult to deal with. In the past, she had competed with a figure from the Holy Land, and was eventually beaten to the point where her physique was disabled, her cultivation plummeted, and she almost died on the spot. "It's just good luck that I saved my life." It seems that Tianlong Temple is also afraid, fearing that Chu Yuan is really the reincarnation of an ancient saint. It has to be said that Tianlong Temple is really cautious and domineering, and it is not unreasonable to live in the world forever. Yu Tianyi said in his heart. "I don't know how Chu Yuan is doing now or whether he has found Qingxue. Qingxue's situation has improved recently." Yu Tianyi glanced at the two soul lamps in front of him and thought. One belongs to Chu Yuan and the other belongs to Gu Qingxue. For Chu Yuan, Tianlong Temple needs to determine at any time whether Chu Yuan died due to other accidents. As for Gu Qingxue, he also took it with him. "I heard he also had a Jutainhan body. If we encounter him, we will kill him together. Otherwise, it would be quite troublesome to seek revenge from Tianlong Temple when he grows up." The purpose of Tenryuji Temple is to be aware of all possible threats. Before, Gu Qingxue's soul lamp was flickering and dim, but now it has returned to normal. This also made Yu Tianyi breathe a sigh of relief. Perhaps it was Chu Yuan who found Qingxue and saved her from the crisis. However, be sure not to come out, otherwise it will be miserable. Even if Chu Yuan is the reincarnation of an ancient saint, Yutiani does not think that Chu Yuan can compete with so many half-Buddhas and Yejia Buddhas in a short period of time. I still have one chance to take action, but once I take action, it will inevitably cause old wounds. At that time, I can only die with hatred, and the time is short, that's all. If Chu Yuan really comes out or brings Qingxue with him, then I will risk my life and take them away. Yu Tianyi decided. The 4.9 injuries she suffered in the past were too serious. Once she exploded with great strength, she would inevitably fall. Moreover, she was not sure how long it would last. It might be a stick of incense, or maybe only a few breaths. Therefore, when she first knew that Gu Qingxue might have gone to the 3 restricted areas, she did not set foot there because her current cultivation level was only at the peak of the 9th level of the Soul Palace realm, and she could only display such strength normally. It faded quickly like a flash of light. By then, if Gu Qingxue was not found, she would die in vain. But now, the situation is different. Whether Chu Yuan comes out or brings Gu Qingxue with him, she will die, and his death was not in vain. Nearly 2 days passed. The entrances to the 3 restricted areas are above the head of the wild dragon. Chu Yuan beamed and said, "Finally, I have integrated the artistic conception of life and death into a small accomplishment, a breakthrough in cultivation." Boom! The 9th level of immortality. The peak of the 9th level of immortality. Reached the ultimate level of immortality. At this time, an extremely weak whisper suddenly reached Chu Yuan's ears. He couldn't help but look down and saw the long eyelashes moving slightly on that beautiful face. Chu Yuan suddenly showed a smile and said, "I'm finally waking up." He just finished speaking. Gu Qingxue's white double eyelids slowly moved.